welcome to another video. This evening I'm actually going to be doing something a bit differently. I will be playing Star Wars Outer Rim. It's got quite a narrative structure, and that's actually why I gravitated towards it originally when I purchased it. And I'm still playing Fallout. I haven't got that to the table yet, but I have played Outer Rim before. I use the solo rules. And yeah, let's get to the table. So here's the game setup. It takes about, I would say actually say a half an hour to set this up. I'd like to think 10 minutes, but it's about a half an hour. And I'm using Unfinished Business. It's an expansion. The game does come with solo rules, but Unfinished Business just adds additional components and additional AI decks and additional characters and additional ships, etc. There's a part of the game that I'm not using yet. I'll allude to that quickly now. Alright, so the component I'm not using and it's optional are these ambition cards. It does make the game a bit longer, and I'm still getting familiar with the game. I believe I played 2 games solo. So yeah, I'm going to jump in and we can just do a little recap later and see how it's going. Okay, so I'm playing Hondo, that's my character, and I'll be flying a G1A starfighter. And I'm starting out in Naboo, and my first job has got a request that I'm taking some cargo to this Spinwood core. So that's on this side of the map, and I'm all the way over here, but I can actually jump across here from the trailing core, and I can actually just come right across there and conclude my job. So I'm going to, on my first action, take a move, so it allows me to move my ship. It's max space, so that's 5, so let's give that a go. So I'll just have to count here. It's 1, 2, I would want to go there, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if there isn't a shorter route than that. So started there, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's no shorter route than that, and that would conclude my planning step. The action step, I get to deliver cargo or bounties, which I can't deliver at this point. Then I get to make a market action if I'm on a planet. I'm not on a planet, so that's not good for me. So I ignore that. Trade cards with the player in my space, so that's the AI character. I don't believe you can trade cards with them. And then encounter. So I must fight a patrol if I've got a negative reputation with that patrol. But which reminds me, I must still put the patrols out. I'll put that out in a moment. Okay, so there's the patrols, and there's patrols on this side. And because I didn't take a market action, I won't. The patrols won't be moving. So that'll conclude my whole round, and we'll move over to the AI. Player I'm playing against is Enfist Nest. A very cool character. I really like her character. So she was issued the G9 rigger. All AI opponents start with this ship. I should have chosen this ship because it's actually got more movement. I could choose the same ship. I could have chosen the same ship, but I instead went with the starfighter. But yeah, it's actually got more movement, which would have benefited me by far. Then the first job that she got was pirate trouble. It says here, a band of pirates have stolen a precious heirloom from a local crime lord. You've been hired to retrieve it. Now, Enfist Nest starts at Ord Mantell, and the job is at Null Hutter, if I'm correct. Destination Null Hutter. So I'm going to flip over the first AI card and see what it says. Now, any abilities on the AI character is ignored unless it's sort of very basic abilities like +1 attack, combat, or +1 hull or shield or health. The rest are all ignored. So just keep that in mind. So looking at the AI card, it says do the first that applies during the planning step. So if defeated, recover all damage, which is not the case. Move to the closest goal. So Infest Nest can move 6. So we're going to move towards her goal, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. If the AI player lands 2 spaces away from a planet, they have to actually backtrack onto that planet, which is not the case. She's more than 2 away from a planet. So that concludes the planning step. Second step is do all that apply. So she's not at her location to drop off her cargo, and she can't actually buy new cargo because she's not on a planet. We go straight through to encounter step. She does have negative reputation, but the patrols haven't really left because no one's bought from what do they call those cards? Market deck. So we go straight through to encounter step. We're there now. So there's no conflict with the patrols. If at a job destination completed, she's not. So she could spend 8,000 credit to gain 1 fame. She's only got 6,000 credit. That's the starting for the AI player. For solo, so here's a special. Discard the top card of the jobs, and I think the other one's cargo, and then shuffle this card back into the AI deck. So I will be discarding. Discard goes to the bottom of the deck. And then you flip over the top one. Now I won't be actioning these on top because she didn't purchase this. And then she's also doing the same thing here. So this will be discarded, which goes to the bottom of the deck. Just doing this one-handed. And then flip over the top card. So this just simulates movement in the market. All right. So that actually concludes the AI's turn. I'll shuffle this back into the AI deck. It doesn't go to the bottom, it actually gets shuffled in, and then I'll be back to my turn. So on my turn, Hondo is busy delivering cargo. It's actually quite interesting cargo. It's a herd of shacks. Quite interesting. So I'm trying to get those to remind myself to the Spinwood core. I'm over there. So I can move my ship, or I can gain 2,000 credits, or I can recover all damage. So I'm definitely going to move my ship. So I get to move 5. So Hondo is definitely a character. He's got a personal goal. Well, he's got an ability that increases my rewards on my cargo, which is 1,000 credits, which is great. And then there's his personal goal. So if I get on the same location as my opponent, I can test influence and then get some of their cargo and then flip my card over. That would conclude my personal goal, which would basically buff and give me better abilities. So I'm going to move 5. So that would be a 1 over here, and then 2, and I'm going to stop right there. So that would conclude my movements. Then action 2, perform any or all. So deliver cargo or bounty. So I will be delivering this cargo, the herd of shacks. Okay. So delivered cargo, I believe, goes to the bottom of the cargo deck. I must just double check. I'll get back to that. But I'll take my 5,000 credits quickly. There's a nice 5,000 credit token for that. And then I increase my reward by 1,000. So I'll just take an extra 1,000 for that. Thank you very much. And alright, so that concludes that deliver cargo. And I'm just going to quickly review just to see where that card goes. Okay, so that clarifies that. So I discard the cargo to the bottom of the deck. Okay. So I'll do that quickly. And since this is the starting databank card, there's a few of these, it'll just go back in. I'll shuffle this in because there's a few 90s and a few 91s. I'll shuffle this back into the 90s. They're all in sequence. So I'll shuffle the 91s, put it back in. But normally your cargo comes from the market deck and it'll go underneath that particular deck. So the next step after I've delivered the cargo is take a market action. I actually can take a market action because I'm at a planet, so I could grab one of these market cards. I'll have a look now if it's something I want to do. And I actually have the option of discarding 2 cards from a single market deck, so I can just cycle through them to see if there's something I want. And buy the top one and then resolve the icons, and I can trade with other players in my space. So I definitely would consider that. I'm probably going to try to grab another job. Well, cargo. Jobs can be dangerous. So Sith Holocron. When you purchase this, the nearest player chooses a planet and places a credit token on it. I wonder what that means, how that concludes. When you purchase this, the nearest player chooses a planet and places a credit on it. Destination, planet with a credit token. You think about that. Oh yeah, that makes sense now. Just had to wrap my head around the wording. So basically the nearest opponent to you places the credit token on it, which is not bad because if I get close to Enfist Nest, my AI opponent, I can essentially hopefully complete my goal. So I actually like this. I can get 2 fame. So the goal of the game is to get 10 fame. Side note, I actually don't click the planet boards together. Since they're made out of board, clicking them in and out just seemed like a bad idea. Long term, that would just fray the board edges. Another thing is punching, there's a little peg that goes into this board where you can track your fame. I literally just put a dice here and I track it with a dice because once again, punching it in and out with a peg, this is made out of board, it's not going to last. So yeah, that's just me. Which reminded me, actually, I had to put my dice on there. So I'm at 0 and so is Enfist Nest. She started with negative syndicate reputation. I'm all neutral. Alright, so I will, that's, wow, okay. That's a 15,000 credit job, cargo. But I get 2 fame, I don't have enough. So that's not even an option for me. So, do I want to turn my credits into fame? Yeah, I'm not going to get rid of that just yet. There's another cargo card up here. What does this one offer me? Cannot buy on Takodana. The destination is Takodana and the reward is 6,000 credits. If you are not a droid, discard this card to recover all damage from your character. Okay. Back the supplies. So this is cargo. I have a destination, but I can discard it to recover all damage. I won't be doing that, but I'm going to grab the card for 1,000, and that will give me 6,000 in return. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Is there anything else? These cargo jobs it's giving me cash, but I just realized now it's not that easy to turn them into to convert them into fame. I'm going to get rich, but I'm not going to be able to do much with it. I'm guessing on the other side of my card, once I complete my personal goal is probably a way for me to convert my cash into something. So I'm just going to grab this cargo card. So see, there's a job. This job reward. There's one syndicate, 2 fame. Okay, what is this? Infiltrate the White Worms. A Corellian criminal group known as the White Worms have stolen data from the wrong man. Now he's looking for someone to steal it back. Okay. Cannot buy on the trailing call. Thankfully I'm not. The trailing call is that one over there, and I am on the Spinwood call. So I can get this, and it's actually free. And my destination is trading call. Man, that's so close. I have to resolve a card, 58. That's always fun. I really like those. I lose 1 syndicate reputation. I can afford that. And I gain 5,002 fame. Then remove this card from the game. I am totally taking that. So that would be my action, and I get to sort of slip this underneath my board. And I'll just slip that underneath the board now. Okay, so whenever you do that, on the market deck, you just need to flip over the top card and then resolve any icons. So the icons that I need to resolve here is, who are these? I forget who they are. I'll have a look on the board. I think that's Syndicate. Yeah, Syndicate. So I will have to move the Syndicate, which is the token underneath this one. The amount of spaces indicated on this card, so it's 3 spaces and it's towards me. So I am, oh wow, that's not good. So they will move 1, 2, and they're right on top of me. But that's okay because I don't have a negative reputation with them, so nothing happens. But if you do encounter them while moving, you have to stop where they are. So they do kind of just bring you to a halt on your turn, but I'm already stopped, so that's fine. Okay, I've already resolved the contact tokens. The next step is encounter, fight a patrol, and that's required if you have a negative reputation. I don't have a negative reputation with anybody. Not yet. Wait until I finish that job. Infiltrate the White Worms. That's going to change things. Resolve an encounter card. I only do that once I deliver this job, so I won't be resolving an encounter card. And you can resolve a token. Now, resolving a token is when you flip a token on a planet where you're at, because you might be looking for, you're hunting, if you're a bounty hunter, or if you're looking for crew. It's not something I'm going to do right now, so that actually resolves my turn. Back to Ernest Nest. And we'll just draw another AI card and see what this one does. So each of these AI cards have a different sequence of events. Some of them seem very similar, but they are different. Planning step. Do the first that applies. If defeated, recover all damage. She's received no damage up to this point. Move towards the closest goal. So her goal, let me remind myself, the destination is Null Hutter. So she's in reach of that, so she can move 6 spaces. So here we go. So we got 1, 2, too easy for her. Okay, so she's at her destination, and that's the first. She's going to do one of those steps. The next one is do all that apply. So if at a cargo destination delivered. So this is a job, not cargo. Interesting. If at cargo destination delivered, cargo is illegal. Yeah, this is a job. So we'll see what they say about jobs. So they want. Where do you drop off the job? So they don't, she doesn't have to do any of these tests The AI automatically just resolves this. But where do they do that? I'll look into that quickly because can't see why she wouldn't conclude her job. So she's at the destination. Wonder if they actually list the step to say that you have to do that. Pretty sure they do. Just one moment. Okay, so I just flipped over the next card just to see what's going on. And as you can see there, it says so on the third encounter step, the third, I guess, segment, she would, if a job destination completed. Now that is not on this one, so she actually just doesn't complete her job. So she's going to be doing other things instead of completing her job. Interesting. Now on my turn, if I have a job, a similar job, you can deliver cargo or bounties. Is that an action? Encounter? No, see, it's at the bottom. So resolve an encounter card, and this would count as an encounter. Test piloting. So for the human player, you would do it under the encounter step. Now, under the encounter step on the card we're looking at now, there is just a patrol one and spending cash to get fame, or gaining 4,000 and then losing 1 reputation with the nearest patrol faction. Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle. I'll just decide if I want to shuffle that or just leave it as is, but I now understand that this card somewhat sabotages Infest Nest, because she's going to choose to do other things, and realistically I'm only allowed to do one item under the encounter step. So the AI is choosing to gain 1 fame by spending 8,000. They don't even have 8,000, so they're going to gain 4,000 and lose 1 reputation over here. So the AI is deciding that that's more important. So interesting. So they're just going to go back to the previous steps. So they're not dropping off any cargo. They get to buy, what is the one with the hands? That's a job. They get to grab a new job and place a token on the card's destination. So these are the tokens that I am supposed to be using for the job's destination. So this should have been on Malhutter for the current job. I'll do that now. So that's the current job for the AI. It just helps you track where it is. And if I grab a new card, I just put another gold token where its destination is. So we're looking at these, and the AI can't buy a card. It can discard the top 2 cards to get to a card that it can buy. So just keep that in mind. So it can buy this one. So it'll just grab that one. It is valid. Can get it. And it has space on its character board. So I'll slip that in underneath jobs. You can see this one can currently hold 2 jobs. And there's cargo, and as you get a better ship, it allows you to slot in more things. And what does this card actually say? What is she doing? So she's rescue from the miners. So put it down and read it. A local governor's son fell in with an unsavory crowd and landed himself in the spice mines of Kessel. His mother will pay a generous fee to anyone gutsy enough to break him out. Cannot buy on Kessel. Right, so Kessel's actually pretty close to where Infest Nest is. and she's essentially going to lose reputation and then gain 8,001 fame. So she needs to, this is where I need to grab, where did I put that token? There we go. She needs to go from Nalhutta to Kessel. It's pretty close. So the AI is doing really well actually. And that card is free. So she didn't have to buy that. So I'll slot that in underneath there. And we need to flip this over to see what happens with the patrol. And the rebel patrol is going to move 3 towards her. So that's this one here. And let's just be 1, 2, 3. It can be any of these paths. Only when it's possible to actually reach her, and you can't deliberately choose the longest path to avoid that. But when it's far away, you don't have to sit there counting the dots. You just move, generally in that direction, and it's fine. All right. So that was the buy and place token. The next one is the encounter step. Do the first that applies. So negative reputation. There's no patrols near Infest. They're all still pretty far away. She can spend 8,000. No, she can't afford that. And she can gain 4,000, so we'll do that. I'm just going to give her 5,000 credit and take 1 away. And then she loses 1 reputation with the nearest patrol faction. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to count the dots quickly. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's see if we can get closer. Take a different route. We got 1, 2, go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so that's actually a shorter route. So there's one that's 11 away. And let's see how far the rebels are. Bottom's probably the quickest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's actually the rebels looks like they're closer. I'll double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So she's gonna decrease in 1 reputation with the rebels. Now the reputation, you can just be neutral, positive, or negative. These little lines are just there for decoration. It can be deceiving. I've heard of players actually nudging nudging the reputation up a little bit each time. It's not the case. It just goes all the way down in the middle or all the way to the top. Alright, so that concludes that step. And then this card, I believe, goes to the bottom of her deck. And that concludes her turn. So she actually doesn't complete this job, Pirate Trouble, just yet. I'm actually going to leave her card on top. It doesn't really affect what I plan on doing with her. I'll just carry on, and I won't sabotage her by cycling that out. I'll just keep playing. Okay, I've actually just changed the camera to try something differently. So one of my previous videos, one person left a comment saying that me holding the camera and moving around gave him a bit of motion sickness. So I'm trying this to see if it's more feasible, and I will assess the outcome and see if it's any better. And feel free to just leave comments depending on which camera setup you prefer. Alright, so over to my turn. Alright, so I get to move my ship up to its moving space, which is 5. I believe I've got a new job, and that new job says I need to go back to the training core, which is on this side. So I'll probably do that. Probably just going to gun it straight for the trading core. So So I get to move 5, I don't need to move that many, I just get to move 1 across here, and I'm there. So I only get to do one of those steps. Don't know if you're able to see that, but there it is. So the action step, I get to perform any or all. So I can deliver cargo or bounties. This is a job. So jobs falls under the encounter step. So I will do the action step now. So I won't be delivering cargo or bounties. I can make an action. So I'm on a planet, which means I can, I believe the trading call is considered a planet. Trading call. I believe you can buy and sell from those. Yeah. So I can do a market action. So do I want to buy another job, get another job or cargo? Let's see. What do we have available? I can also buy a new ship. Might not be such a bad idea. But I'm kind of hoping not to go into a lot of combat. So I'll see how it goes. I can't buy this on Takodana. But I can gain 6,000 from this. It costs 1,000. So I might do that. That would go here in my cargo mod. That's 1,000 for that. There's that one for 15,000. How much do I have? It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 5 more. So I can't get that one yet. I like that one quite a bit. Allow me to get 2 fame. So what did it say there? When you purchase this, the nearest player chooses the planet and places a credit token on it. And the destination is that planet, and I gain 2 fame. So this is a good one. I'm going to definitely want to get that. I just can't afford it yet. So maybe with this, once I complete this job, I'll be able to get it. I can also get armor for Hondo. So there's some armor over there. That would give me, I think that's shield, 2 shields, basically health. I won't be doing that. Then there is bounties. I'm not going to play the bounty role. There is a job here, it's free, and it's the Kessel run. So basically I have to get from here all the way to Kessel. And I get to resolve a card, and it gives me 10,000 and 2 fame. And that's free. This gives me no cash back and 2 fame. So I'm going to grab this one for now. It's a job. And slip this underneath here. So that's called the Kessel Run. And I'll read it out quickly. It says here, deep under the surface of Kessel is a rich vein of coaxium ore. You've been hired to steal some. So I'm going to do the Kessel Run and steal some coaxium ore. And I can't buy it while on Kessel. And I must resolve a card 46. So it's not as simple as that. I'm going to have to resolve a bit of an event. Alright, but that was free. So I must flip over this card. And then I must action. The Imperials are going to move 3 spaces towards me. Alright, so the Imperial, where have they moved already? No, they're right here. And I have got neutral reputation with them, so they are right on top of me. So thankfully there's going to be no combat from that. And there's no other icons, so that's all good. So that resolves the action step. I get to trade cards, but that's not a factor. I can ignore that. Then the encounter step. I can only choose one. So I can fight with a patrol that's got a negative space with me, or I can optionally choose to fight. But if you have negative reputation, you have to fight with them. I'll skip that. I get to resolve an encounter card. So these jobs are encounter cards. So I can't resolve the Kessel Run one, but I can do the infiltrate the white worms. So just to recap, that was the Corellian criminal group known as the White Worms have stolen data from the wrong man. Now he's looking for someone to steal it back. So I'm basically stealing something here. So I'm going to have to do an encounter card. So from the data bank. So I won't be doing that. So it's card 58 that I need to do. So it'll probably be in this pile. Bingo, there's 58. There's usually more than one. It shows you on the back how many there are, but since the expansion added some more, those dots at the back aren't actually relevant anymore. sometimes it will show you 2 dots, but there's actually far more of those card variants. So I must just choose which one of these 2 I want to take, and I'll take this one, and I'll put this back in the deck. Should have just left it open where it was. Okay, so I'll put this one back, and I'll assume we have to put that one back anyway, so I'll just plonk that on there like that. So now I'm going to resolve this. So if you don't want any spoilers, I guess if you plan on playing this game and you treat every single job as, you know, rich narrative, which I actually do, you might want to just skip this part because I'm going to read the narrative. If you're curious, if you want to buy the game, or if it's your kind of game, sit through this so you get to see what it's about. There's a whole bunch of these cards, so if you get to see the ones in just the sitting, it's not such a bad thing. Alright, so the first step is the planet is swarming with Imperials. If they catch you, you'll never find the white worms. Test stealth. If you fail, lose 1 Imperial reputation. Okay, so to test, I believe you roll stealth, you roll 2 dice. Always roll 2 for a test. Unless you're doing combat, you roll the amount of dice that's shown there. But for a test, it's always 2. I'm going to confirm that quickly. I've got my books right here. So skill tests. Yep, roll 2 dice. If I'm unskilled, which means I don't have the thing they're asking me to test, the thing I'm supposed to test here is stealth. My card has stealth in the corner. So if you don't have stealth, you have to get a crit to pass. If you do have stealth, in this case, you have the skill required. You can pass on a normal hit and a crit. And if you have that skill more than once, maybe on a crew member as well, then you can pass on a hit, a crit, or an eye. So in my case, it's a crit and an eye. So I'm just trying to get either a crit or an eye, and I passed. Alright, I actually got both, so that's great. I got a crit and an eye. So I get to move on to the next stage of this. So you can try talk your way into the crime organization. So just to recap this, the planet was swarming with Imperials. And if they catch me, I'll never find the white worms. So I got past the Imperials by using stealth. So now you can try to talk your way into the crime organization. So I must use influence to try to talk my way into the white worms, or at least into the crime organization to find them. So I must test influence. I do have influence, so once again, a normal hit, a crit or a normal hit will pass. I got a normal hit, so luckily I passed that. So I've managed to talk my way into the crime organization. They force you to fight a Sibian hound as part of some cruel punishment. So I must test tactics. Do I have tactics? No. So this is where it comes why it's important to actually get crew members, because they can actually help you with these things. I underrated crew members, but I'm wishing I had some right now. So I don't actually have tactics. So only way I can pass this test is if I roll a crit. Yep, I got a crit. Ooh, close one. So I passed my tactics test. If I failed, I would have suffered 2 damage. But it keeps carrying. You still move from step to step until it tells you that you've failed completely. So even if you fail a step, you keep moving down until it tells you the whole thing's failed. But so far, I've passed everything. So I won my battle, excuse me, against the Sibian hound. Step 4. Life here is a constant battle. Every day, there's another fist fight with one of the worms. So I've obviously made it into the white worms crime organization. So not just the crime organizations, but the actual white worms. I need to test my strength to see. So I don't have strength. So once again, I'm hoping for a crit. It's getting pretty close to the end of this quest. So I hope I get a crit. No crit. So I actually failed that step. So there's a fist fight, and Hondo fails the fist fight. He actually won the fight against the Sibian Hound, but he's lost the fist fight. So if you fail, your character suffers 2 damage. So these are these damage tokens here. And I'll just put 2 here by Hondo, the character itself. If your ship suffers damage, it goes to your ship. But I still continue with the quest. You are gaining respect, but does Lady Proxima trust you enough to let you near the data? Test influence. If you pass, complete this job. If you fail, return to step 3. Alright, so you can just keep looping. I believe you can abandon a quest if it's not working out for you. So I need to test influence. I've got influence, so I get to pass on a crit or a regular hit. Oh, 2 blanks. That is brutal. There are certain mods like equipment that lets you add dice and reroll dice. So once again, it's also important to get mods. I'm running vanilla Hondo right now. That's not working out for me. So I have to, I don't suffer more damage. I'll just go back to step 3. So I was trying to get the respect of Lady Proxima, but I wasn't able to influence her. So I'm going back and I have to fight another Sibian Hound, I guess, to prove myself. So I must test influence. I've got influence, so it's a crit and a normal hit. I've actually made a mistake here. On test 2, I tested influence and I believe I passed. If you pass, you skip straight to step 4. But I didn't fail the Sibian Hound one anyways, but I didn't actually need to do that one. But I did need to do the fist fight. So if I, I could have skipped the Sibian Hound one previously, but I'm going to have to do it now. Alright, so I've got a crit, and I need to test tactics. I don't have tactics, but I had to get a crit to pass, so I don't suffer damage, and I move on to the next step. So I get back into the fist fight, and I need to test strength. I don't have strength, so I'm hoping for a crit again. No crit, so I've taken 2 damage in a fist fight. And Hondo is knocked out. His capacity is 4 over there. So he's knocked out. I fail this. I can retry it later, but this card's going to go back. And who knows, maybe I'll pull a different 58 card the next attempt. Okay, so that concludes that, and I was only able to do 1 step in that counter step, so nothing happens there. So I was not able to finish that quest, and now it's over to the AI. Alright, so I'm going to take a card from the AI deck and see what it says here. Try to read this here. Planning step. Do the first that applies, so if defeated, and he's not defeated, she's not defeated, move towards closest goal. So she's currently on her goal, so she's not going to move. She gets to gain 2,000 credits. Okay, what's the next step here? Action step. Do all that apply. If at a cargo destination, deliver cargo, she's got 2 jobs, so she doesn't have cargo. She gets to buy a ship if she has enough money. So the ship that's currently here is worth 5,000. She definitely has 5,000. It's the GX1 short hauler. So gain this ship sheet and remove this card from the game. So I'm going to grab that, take this card, put it aside, look for the ship card. Got it. Yeah. So she's just sold her ship. Now the G9 rigger doesn't actually have any market value to it, as you can see here. It's got no value in the top corner. So when you sell it, there's no trading value for that one. But the other ships actually do have a trading value. So if you look at the new ship she just bought, it actually contributes to your next purchase. So when you sell, you get 5,000 added to your bank balance when you're buying the trading. Alright, so she got to buy that ship, and I took that out of the game, and then she's got to flip this card. There's no icons to action on that. You don't have I don't think there's ever icons you have to action on a ship purchase. Alright, so she's gone from purchasing a ship. Did she pay the price? No, she didn't. So that was 5,000. We'll just pay that. Okay, so she's paid for that. Next, the encounter step. Do the first that applies. So if the reputation is negative and there's a patrol, we don't have to deal with that. She does have negative reputation, but there's no patrol that she has to worry about. If at a job destination completed, so she does have a job at this destination at Nalhata, which is this job here. So, pirate trouble. A band of pirates have stolen a precious heirloom from a local crime lord. You've been hired to retrieve it. So she's going to retrieve some an heirloom stolen by pirates. So she doesn't have to do the test. She automatically concludes that she gains 4,001 fame, and this card is taken out of the game. So 4,000. We'll just give her 5 and take 1 away. She gets 1 fame, so we're just going to flip the dice to 1. And yeah, the card's been removed from the game. So 4,001 fame, remove card. Done all that. Alright, so she's just completed her job, and there's only one thing that she can do in this encounter step, and she's just done it. So that concludes her turn. So this card then gets discarded, and discard means it goes to the bottom of the pile. So here's her deck, and just pops underneath. Some cards actually tell you to shuffle the deck. Okay, so back to my turn, and you can see it actually flows quite easily once you get it up and running. Alright, back to my turn. So I'm trailing behind. I've been knocked out. So the first thing that I want to do is recover all damage from character and ship. So I'm going to take 4 off Hondo. I need to get some crew. I can't just trust on luck to complete these jobs. I'm hoping to get some crew. So I've just, during my planning step, I've just used this one here, which is recover all damage. So I'm going to the next step, is action step, so I can perform all or any. I can deliver cargo or bounties. I've only got jobs. I can do a market action. So I probably want to maybe hire crew. I don't want to spend my money on gear at the moment. So, and when you hire a crew, you got to look at their card. They'll have an can't remember how it works. I think there's a number on the picture. We'll see now. Yeah, there is a number on the picture. Or something I haven't mentioned is you can also, instead of in this last step here, you can resolve a contact token, which is one of these tokens here, or you can resolve an encounter card. This is a counter card. These jobs are also an encounter. Okay. So what do I want to do? Do I want to hang on to my cash? I'm probably going to hang on to my cash and go to the next step and try and resolve a contact. So to resolve a contact, you flip it over, and then you can try to get them as a contact. So there's actually no contacts at my location, so I'm not going to resolve a contact. I will just buy some gear, I think. I think I'll just grab some gear, so some armor. This will at least come in handy for when I try to do that same quest again. And the great thing is I can just wear this now as I go straight into the quest again. So I'm just going to pop that on there. So armor and gear goes up here. We'll just slide this aside. So that costs 3,000. So he's wearing some cool armor vest now. So I did take a market action. So now I must flip over this card here, which is the gear deck. And, or mods. and there's no, oh wait, they do, I think that's the huts. Yeah, the huts are going to move 3 towards me. So the huts are on the other side of the map. So that's oh no, they're right here. They're going to go 1, 2, and they're right on top of me. So the huts are on top of me. I can fight them. They're also worth money. And if you defeat some of these, they actually give you a victory point. So you can go into battle with the patrols if you want to. So okay, that resolves that. So now I go into the encounter step. So I can either fight a patrol with negative, if I've got negative, which I don't. I can resolve an encounter card, or I can resolve a contact. There's no contacts there for me to resolve, so I'm going to do my encounter card, which was that quest again, the job. So let's do that. So I must grab card 58. We'll see if I grab the same one again, or what happens there. There was only 2 of them, I believe. Yep. So let's just move these around. Take that one. Let's see. Infiltrate the white worms. So, sneaking onto Corellia was hard enough, but now you need to somehow weasel your way into Lady Proxima's good graces. Test influence. So this is a new one. That's great. If you pass, skip to step 3. And I've got influence. So when I roll 2 dice, it's either on a crit or a hit. So when I refer to a crit and a hit, it's your first thing you're aiming for is a crit. But if you have a skill, it passes on a hit as well. And if you have the skill twice, it passes on an I2. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if I can. So we were speaking about sneaking onto Corellia was hard enough. So obviously I must have snuck onto Corellia at some point. I don't remember doing that. It must have been part of backstory of this quest. Is Corellia even on this map? I don't see Corellia anywhere on this map, so it's obviously just backstory. So I'm just trying to win over Lady Proxima again. So on a crit or a hit, 2 eyes. Oh, brutal. So I have to go to step 2 now because I failed. Proximus, the third girl Banshee, asks you to send a message to one of the gang enemies to prove your loyalty. So I must test strength. And I don't have strength, so that's not great, but at least I'm wearing armor in case I fail. So I have to pass on a crit. I don't have a crit. Oh, that's brutal. So I suffer 2 damage. So that I'll just put that on my shield there. Alright. But it keeps going. You're finally assigned to the job you've been waiting for. You better pull your weight or they'll get suspicious. So I must test tactics. At long last, your client's data pad is within reach. So I failed tactics. So I failed that mission. So I didn't pull my weight on that mission. But I failed it. But that's if you pass, skip to step 5. So I'm going to the next one. Who hired you? Banshee asked, menacing you with a stun baton. Test influence if you fail. Okay, so I'm going to test influence. And I get 2 blanks, so that's nothing. I can't use that, so I fail. Test influence. If you fail, your character suffers 1 damage and you repeat the step. Okay. So I can basically do this 3 more times and I'm out. So I must test influence again. Nope, failed. I suffer 1 damage again. I get to do it again. I pass. So that was with influence. So I actually pass. 5. So I was trying to influence Banshee to that she trusts me. Now, step 5. At long last, your client's data pad is within reach. Test stealth. If you pass, complete this job. No, I don't get what I need. So if you fail, return to step 4. So I'm testing influence. He does have influence. So thankfully, these 2 tests I actually have. Let's just hope I passed it on a crit or a hit. No, failed again. Hondo's really struggling to convince and get that data pad. So this is his last attempt to convince Banshee because she's questioning who hired him. And he passed. Okay, skin of his teeth. So Hondo's got one last chance to grab that data pad, else he's going to get booted from this criminal organization, knocked unconscious basically. So you need to test his stealth to get to the data pad. Alright, one last shot to finish this job. It's intense. And he doesn't. So he doesn't get knocked out actually, he goes straight back to Banshee. Banshee probably keeps seeing him by the data pad and questions him with the baton. Is it a stun baton? Yeah. Alright, so I have to influence her again. She must be super suspicious of him right at this point. Alright, so he's got the skill, so he can pass on a hit. So he moves back to the data pad. He must look super shady at this point. Hondo, come on, man. So he's trying to do stealth to get that data pad. Nope, fails. Wow. So he's back to the Banshee again, and the Banshee's really like just wondering why he's hovering by the data pad, so he has to use influence on the Banshee. And he passes, and he's back to the data pad. He's testing stealth. And he passes. That is an pretty intense quest of back and forth, and it makes quite a nice narrative, but man, it was getting a bit much. Hondo was almost knocked out, and this is the second time we have attempted this quest. The nice thing is to see that you get to see sometimes you get to see the variant of that quest. So we completed the quest. If you pass, complete this job. So I'm putting this card back into the data deck, and then I will actually be completing this quest now. So that is reward. I lose 1 syndicate, and I gain 5,000, and then I get 2 fame. Okay, so this quest, and I must remove this card from the game, so this card gets removed from the game. And we can move back to Enfys Nest. So I'm going to take the next card, flip it, to see where we are. So we're actually doing better than Enfys Nest all of a sudden, but he's taking quite a bit of damage. Talking about Hondo, that is. Okay, so AI, planning step. You do the first that applies. If defeated, recover all damage. So Enfys Nest's got no damage on her. Then move towards your closest goal. So her goal is no longer at Nalhada, because she completed that quest. So her goal is now at Castle. So yeah, she'll probably move to Castle, and she gets to move 6. So here we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The AI doesn't have to stop when they go through that maelstrom, I think it's called. They can just move through it, but they count it. Where as a human player, you have to stop. But she could also go on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, she can still. That's the shortest route. I'm just going to confirm that she can go through a maelstrom. I believe she can. I remember that's the case. They can just move through a maelstrom, and I think it's called a maelstrom. Okay, so that was that step there. Then the action step, do all that apply. If at cargo destination delivered, has she got cargo? No, she's got a job. All right, buy. I think it's cargo that she gets to buy. Where is that? Is that one over there? So for 1,000, so she can afford this, so she will grab this. She can't buy this on Takodana, but it's the destination is Takodana, and she can get 6,000. It's back to supplies. So we're going to put the token on Takodana, which is over here. That's the next destination. We'll slip it under cargo, which is up here. Back to supplies. We flip the card over here around, and the Imperials move 3 towards her. Where are they at this point? They're underneath me. Okay, so they'll move 3 towards her, so it's 1, 2, 3. There's something else that also happens here, is apart from them just moving 3 towards the AI, on the AI's location, if there's 1 to 3 players, so you don't get to flip 1 to 3 contacts, it's if there's 1 to 3 players, flip a contact, and I must just remember which contact you flip. Do you flip one that's relevant to a bounty, or do you flip the lowest and work your way up? I want to confirm that quickly, but that's what we're going to do now. So there's 3 contacts there, it's 2 yellows and an orange actually underneath Enfys Nest. So I'm just going to have a look at the flipping contacts quickly. I believe that would be in the unfinished business rulebook. Yeah. Most markers in this expansion have a reveal contact icon. Like patrol movement icons, the current player resolves this icon when the card is flipped face up after a player buys or gains a card from the market. So reveal contact icon. Each reveal icon has a range of numbers on it. When one of these icons is resolved, if the number of players in the game is included in the range of numbers displayed on the icon, the current player must choose one face-down contact on their planet and turn it face up, if able. They do not encounter their contact, though they may do so during the encounter step. So they don't say what happens on an AI though. So the player gets to choose, it seems. The current player must choose one face-down contact. If the player flips a contact that matches any player's character, they remove their contact from the game and flip another token. If a player is not on a planet when they resolve a revealed contact token, that icon has no effect. So they don't actually tell you what happens with AI here. So I wonder if later on they'll say that. Contact tokens for player characters. Still don't know what happens for AI there. There's optional rules, ambitions. So here's AI single player rules. Yeah, when AI player resolves a reveal contact icon after buying a card from the market, they flip the face down contact token on their planet with the lowest class, fewest pips on its back face up. If there are more than one eligible token of the same class, choose one at random. Alright, so I believe I had it right. So it's the lowest, so which would be yellow. I'll flip one of these, and we just revealed Dengar. Okay. So Dengar has just been revealed. If there was bounties, that would have been more relevant. The nice thing is now I can see Dengar, and he's got a number 8 next to him. So if I want to hire him as a crew member, I have to flip over card 8 from the databank and see what it says in order to hire him. Sometimes it involves money, I think. Normally I think it involves money. Okay, so she's just bought cargo, and that cargo has, where did she put that? Oh yeah, there, back to supplies, and she needs to get to Takodana over there. Next step, encounter step, do the first that applies. So if negative reputation and there's a patrol, there's no patrol near her, but she does have negative reputation, but there's no patrol near her. If at a job destination completed, she needs to be at Kessel, and she is at Kessel, so she gets to complete that job, and that concludes that. So what is this job saying? Rescue from the mines. A local governor's son, we've read this before, I'm just going over it again. A local governor's son fell into an unsavory crowd and landed himself in the spice mines of Kessel. His mother will pay a generous fee to anyone gutsy enough to break him out. Alright, so the AI doesn't have to resolve card 50. They just lose one reputation of the syndicate, so they're already in minus, so they can't go lower than that. They gain 8,000, so we'll give them a 5, and 3 of these. And 1 fame, and then remove this card from the game. So they're on 2 now, same as me. Same as Hondo. And that concludes this AI card, and then this card will be put at the bottom of the AI deck. Alright, back to my turn. So I need to look at the, we're back to Hondo. So Hondo is currently the trading call. I did manage to complete that card, which gave me the reputation. Is that the one Hondo was doing? Here we go, this is the one Hondo was doing. So he got 5,002 fame. That's the one he just completed. So my next goal is going to be, I'm not sure, did I grab that fame? Yeah, but then I must have used 3,000. Yeah, I would have had enough for that next card, but I've used some credits in the meantime. Okay, so what do I do? Hondo's trying to get to complete this Kessel run. This is the one he wants to complete. So that's 10,000 credits and 2 fame. So he needs to get to Kessel. I do want to grab a crew on the way because I've got a feeling I'm going to need it. And I probably want to recover that health. If I take one more hit, I'm out. So it's pretty safe to say on this turn I will recover all damage from my character and my ship. So that's my planning step. So I'll take it off my shield, my armored vest, and then off Hondo himself. So Hondo had a pretty rough time in the criminal underworld, but he's just taking some time now during his planning step to recover. And let me just double check here. Yeah, that's fine. The armor, you can just remove it, so that it's not as if you discard the armor. So on the next step, it's the action step. So he won't be delivering any cargo. He's got a job, so that's not the case. Market action. Is he at a planet? Yep, he's at the trading call. So does he want to grab anything? I could grab something. Let's see here. I can put ion cannon on the ship. Is there anything else? There's blaster parts. Oh, that's just the cargo. I can actually upgrade the ship. And there's a bounty. And there's another job. What's this one? It will give me 5,001 fame. Fame's pretty scarce for me right now, so I think I'm going to take this job, and it's free. So what does it say? Relic of the past. You have uncovered information about an underwater temple on Mon Calamari. Surely there is something of worth there. So basically I've got intel on treasure on Mon Calamari, and I'm going to go try and get it. So I'm just going to slip that under my jobs. And I'll flip this one over. And that job was free. That's great. So the reveal reveals that the rebels is going to move 4 spaces towards me. Which is good that it's the rebels and not the syndicate, because I'm in bad books for the syndicate. So let's grab the rebels and move them 4 spaces forward. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. covers that. Then the next step is I'll be trading. Encounter step. So do I fight a patrol with a negative reputation? Who's under me? That is the huts. So I'm actually fine there. And the syndicate is over here. So they're far from me, so that's fine. The patrols can't jump across. So I don't have to worry about that. I can optionally attack that patrol and get, I can fight with the huts and get 5,000 credits for fighting this patrol. And then the next patrol that comes out would actually offer fame, but they do get harder and harder to defeat. And I'm not going to get up for a battle with this ship. So, and I'm not near a contact token, so what I can do is I can resolve a contact card. So each of these planets have a contact card, so that would be this step over here. Resolve an encounter card. So these are encounter cards. So let's see what this one says. So across the core is what we're going to look at now. So that's would be the text there, the second part. So we ignore the top part. Where would core walls? Am I reading this right? I guess this. I wonder what they're referring to when they say core walls across the core. I guess it refers to both. Which one do you choose? I guess you can do a job based on the walls are the core walls around that portal, or you can actually do a job at that jump point. So I must choose which one I want to do. I think obviously you can read whichever one you want to do, so I'm just going to look at the benefits. So I can move the Imperial Patrol directly to any space if it's a player in that space who has positive reputation or negative Imperial reputation. The player must encounter that patrol. So basically I can send them to Infest Nest, and she does have a negative with the rebels. I could maybe do that. I can't remember. I don't think are you allowed to read, or must you choose first? I think you got to choose first. I'm not sure. Core walls. I'm gonna have a look at the manual quickly. What they say. So that would be for the expansion. It's had a room unfinished business. Let's see what they say about those cards. Here we go. So there's the core walls. Here's the core wall encounters. Before a player draws a core worlds encounter, they must announce if they intend to cross to the other side of the galaxy. If they intend to cross, they resolve the across core section of the core worlds. Okay, so only if you plan on traveling across, so you're kind of committing to traveling across the next round, then you do the across the core segment. So I read the correct part. What is it? Core worlds clarifications. A player who moves from one core world space to another via and across the core encounter has not moved through any other spaces during this movement. When determining the nearest player's space, okay, yeah, you can't do that. When resolving a patrol, they can't move across. Alright, so that clarifies that. Okay, so essentially if you plan on jumping across, then you do the second part of this card. But in my case, I did the correct one. So I won't be able to hire a crew with this, but I do get to move the rebels anywhere I want, and I'm going to move them smack bang on. Do I want to move them on, and what happens if I do? Move the Imperial Patrol directly on any space. If there is a player in that space who has positive or negative reputation, they must encounter that patrol. Alright, so I'm putting smack bang on Infant's Nest, and I'm wondering, when does that take place? When do they encounter that patrol? Well, obviously, if they've got a positive rebel or negative, they must encounter the patrol. So that's basic rules. That's normal. But when you start and you fly from a nav point away, you're not forced to encounter that patrol. So that's interesting. I'm not sure what to do about this. I'll read the flavor text, by the way. So the flavor text says, hear any rumors about illegal activities during your travels out on the rim? The ISB agent asks. So basically you snitching. Where to go, Hondo? Alright. Move the Imperial Patrol directly to any space. If there is a player in that space who has positive or negative Imperial reputation, that player must encounter that patrol. I guess this happens instantly. So I'm going to treat it that way, and we'll, just discard this at the bottom. And they will have to encounter the patrol. That patrol has 3 attack. So I'll put those 3 dice here. And Enfist Nests, I'm just going to say Enfist has 2 attack. So it's ship against ship. And all damage applies. It's just, you can actually both fly off without killing the other. And I believe a crit counts as 2. I'll double check on that. But anyways, it's a hit and a hit. So they both take a hit, and so I'll just put that on Memphis ship over here. I'll put it on, yeah, it doesn't matter. Just put it on the ship. The patrol doesn't actually, unless you wipe them out, they don't carry the damage around with them, and then that patrol has to move 1 away from the AI, and I can put it anywhere. So I'm going to be sneaky. And they don't actually have a job at the moment, so I actually don't know where they're headed, but I will just put it here. Okay, so that concludes my turn. Didn't really get anything out other than just putting 1 damage on Infest. Just going to double check the rules on flight combat, and I believe resolving combat, yeah, each crit counts 2, and focus does no damage but may be used for abilities. Okay, so my memory serves me well. That's how it works. Alright, so we're going to move over to Enfist, draw a new AI card, see what happens. Alright, planning step, do the first that applies, recover all damage. That's only if they need to, so if they've been knocked out, so Enfist wouldn't do that. Move towards the closest goal. Oh, they do have a goal. They've got this cargo, which is good because the cargo's in Takodana. So, yep, they're going to move now. And I'm going to read something because essentially Amethyst has to either encounter their patrol and stop straight away after Castle, which is a great move of my part to put the patrol just offset there, or they have to go around, which means she's wasting a lot of movements. So I just want to see what is the decision there regarding AI. Moving. There are multiple paths by which the AI player could move towards a goal. They move in the direction that brings it closest to its goal. Okay, so they would move the closest direction of the goal, which means they encounter the patrol, I believe. Because to get to this point, it's 1, 2, 3. And to get to that point, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, definitely going to go that route. So they have to encounter patrol again. Patrol's got 3 dice. I'll put the 3 dice on that side, and Amethyst is still rolling 2. 1 damage on a normal hit, 2 on a crit. Amethyst hits the patrol for 2. How much does the patrol need to be knocked out? How does that work again? Oh, if they win the battle, it's all about who rolled the most dice. So if it's a draw, they win. So she would have won that battle, the last battle. That was my mistake. So Amethyst would have actually won the last battle against this patrol because they both rolled a normal hit. Okay, so I'm going to discard this patrol. I'm going to bring another rebel in here. So this rebel, as you can see now, does it's got hits for 5, and it gives a victory point if defeated. So how you defeat them is you just have to roll a higher outcome than them in the battle. If you roll a lower outcome, you still take damage, and they fly away with no damage. So you have to roll higher than them or the same to knock them out. So Amethyst would have got 5,000 from that, and she would have lost the reputation. That's just part of what happens when you defeat the patrol. You lose reputation with them, and then you get whatever rewards written on there. So she wouldn't have to stop, and she would just move 6 in the direction of her goal. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We do all that apply. So does she go 2 back towards the planet? No. If cargo delivered, she does have cargo, but she's not at the destination. If all job slots that's interesting. If all job slots full, I guess they left out the word "are" there. Buy, I think that's cargo. But she can't buy because she's not at a planet, so it doesn't work. Then with the encounter step, if negative reputation, there's no patrol near her. If at a job, destination completed, she doesn't have jobs, she just has cargo. The last option here is reveal the FaceTime contact token of the lowest class on this planet and gain the crew on its card for free. She won't get that either because she's not at a planet. So I'm going to just discard that, go to the bottom of the deck, and that's the end of her turn. So it's pretty good for Hondo. Amethyst didn't have a very successful turn there, although Amethyst did get 5,000 credits. Alright, so that would be Hondo's turn now. So we can move our ship. We want to move to the Kessel Run, or we want to move to Mon Calamari. So where is Mon Calamari? Mon Calamari is sitting over there, and Kessel's sitting that side. So I committed to not jumping the call to do the previous action. So I guess I can't jump the call now because when I did that card, I chose I was not going to jump the call. I probably should have because it would be somewhat quicker to go that route. Although I do have negative reputation with the syndicate, so yeah, inversely, maybe it's better I go that way. Sort of see, is this a single spot? No. So I'm going to take the high road here and go past that Imperial, because as soon as you go near them, even if you have a neutral reputation or positive, you still have to stop. Actually, I think if you have positive, you can go through them. I'll double check on that. I think positive, you don't have to stop at all. I believe that's the case. So, do they say? Don't think they say. I think later on they're encountering patrol this side. Probably gonna look for movement. Yeah, movement rules, interrupted movement. If you move to a space that has patrol, you must stop unless you have positive reputation with that patrol. So yeah, if you have positive, you just fly right through. So, alright, so I will be moving, Honda will be moving. Honda gets to move 5. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wonderful. Which is good. So now I can do a market action and I can look for crew. So the next step would be delivering cargo bounties. I've got jobs, so I've got no cargo bounties. I could do a market action if on a planet. So I probably am going to. I do have space for another job. I don't. I do have one space for crew. I might want to grab a second crew, so I probably need to upgrade my ship at this point. So I am going to grab the Hawk 290 freighter. This ship here. So gain this ship sheet and remove this card from the game. It has 2 crew, so it's going to be helpful for Honda. So let's go find the Hawk 290 here. Okay. So I'm finally getting rid of this ship. The Hawk 290's got the same defense, same attack, but it's got better movement. So that's great. So I'm going to discard the Starfighter. Alright, and I need to pay for that. Now I'll flip over this card here. Okay. Ooh, the next ship's actually got 3 crew. Not bad. 15,000 though. But I still get to retain the 5,000 off my ship, so it's not as if I lose that. Then I'll go to the encounter step. I don't want to fight a patrol. I get to resolve an encounter card or resolve a contact token. I will resolve a contact token, so I get to flip either the orange one underneath, the white one, or the green one. I'm going to flip the orange one and see what I get. Jin Urso. She's currently on this planet and I've encountered her as a contact. So now you're going to see on card 32, you'll see on her token there's a 32, and that tells me which data card to flip, and I'll see if I can recruit her or not. Okay, so how many 32s are there? Just one. Okay, Jin Ursa. Let's see. Jin Ursa. Jin makes short work of the lone stormtrooper patrolling in the city. Someone with her skills would be quite a valuable asset. If you have positive Imperial reputation or negative Rebel reputation, test stealth. I don't, so that's great. If you did not test stealth, you may spend 6,000 to gain the crew below and discard Jin Urso's token. So she's going to give me influence, which I already have, but I'll be able to double down on that. And she'll give me tactics, which I don't have. So I'm going to spend the 6,000 to get Jin Urso on my team. And I discard Jin's token. So I take her token off the planet because she's now boarding my ship. And I'll add her as crew here. And let me just pull this up so you can see. Jin is going to offer me an ability apart from these skill tests. Is once per turn during combat or a skill test, you may turn one of your eye results to a crit. Jin Urso is crazy strong. And I don't believe I have paid for her yet. So I will spend 6,000. And that concludes my turn. Alright, quick amendment. I forgot to award Hondo 1,000 credits because of his ability. His ability says increase the reward on each of your cargo and jobs by 1,000. So he got 1,000 previously when he dropped off some cargo, an additional 1,000 because of his ability. I forgot to give him that 1,000 for his that criminal syndicate job that he did for the to infiltrate the White Worms. So I've awarded him that 1,000. Second mistake I made, which I've amended now, is that that card that I drew, that Core Worlds card that's now at the bottom, it should not have been the Rebels being placed on Kessel. It should have been the Imperials. So I've actually fixed that. So I've moved the Rebels back to where they were. I've undone the flipping of that token. I've moved the Imperials on Kessel. And since Enfist has got a neutral reputation with the Rebels, the Imperials, no conflict happened there, so I removed that damage, and so that token stays on the board. So there would have been no reputation loss, which never happened anyways. And her movement wasn't impeded previously, so it remains unimpeded. And my movement previously was not impeded by the Rebels, the Imperials, so it still remains unimpeded. So the board's been sort of, I amended that slight oversight of the credits and switching by accident the Rebels and the Imperials. That's been reset, so we'll just continue from there. Alright, so it's now the AI's turn. So on my last turn I got Jin Urso. Just excuse the plaster, I was busy setting up this sort of camera arm tripod thing just to avoid the motion blur, motion sickness thing. and I cut myself with a saw, so happy days, but nothing serious. Just ignore that. But the mechanical arm is up in place, so the camera is quite secure now. I had it in this weird concoction with mechanical arm attached to a chair, on top of a chair. It was really strange. So now I've got the mechanical arm attached to the desk itself, far more civilized. All right, so over to Infus Nest. So I'm going to grab the top card of her AI deck. Okay, so let's just see what that says. So planning step, do the first that applies. If defeated, recover all damage. That's not the case. Move towards nearest goal. So I'm going to remove this goal token from Kessel. She's no longer interested in Kessel. She wants to get to Takodana, I believe, because she's got Bacta supplies that she wants to drop off there. So she'll move there. So she can move 6. So let's take her through. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, cool. Great. Next. Action step, do all that apply. Buy a ship. If unable, buy gear. She's not at a planet. She can go... Can she go 2 back to get to a planet? No. So, yeah, she forfeits that. Because if she had to come this route here, so that would be 5, 6, so she still wouldn't get to the planet, so she'll stay there. So she forfeits her market action. Alright, what else we got here? Encounter step, to the first that applies. If negative reputation with a patrol, there's no patrol on her location, so that doesn't apply. If Enfys Nest has an empty crew slot, reveal the face-down contact token of the lowest class on this planet and gain the crew on its card for free. She's not at a planet, so she forfeits that. So Enfys is basically, narratively, she's I'll bring up her card here as we speak about her. She's chasing that cargo job. Well, it gets confusing when I call it job because there's other jobs, but it's basically she's chasing that cargo. She wants to drop off that cargo at Takodana. That seems to be her main goal. She's forfeiting chances to actually get crew and engage the market. So she's hard pressed to drop off those Bacta supplies. She's somewhat, I guess, obsessed with dropping that off. She's headstrong. Alright, so she does not get to buy anything. She doesn't get to gain any crew. Let's have a look here. She gets to gain 4,000 and an additional 1,000 for each of Enfys Nest's crew. She's got no crew at this point. Then lose 1 reputation with this planet's faction, if any. So she's not at a planet, so she doesn't lose any reputation, but she will gain 4,000, but no additional 1,000 for each crew, and she won't lose reputation, so just 4,000. She's got a pretty generous supply of credits here. Let's give her one more. She does not have a credit problem. She almost looks like the bank. Alright, special. Discard the top card of the, I believe that's gear and, what is that? I keep forgetting the name. So that's cargo and bounty, sorry. So I'm going to discard the top card of the bounty and cargo. And then shuffle this AI card back into the deck. So I'll just quickly put that there for Slank. So I'll discard the top card of the bounty. I'm not really engaging with the bounty anyway, and she doesn't seem to be engaging with the bounty either. She seems to be quite cargo and job driven. So the bounty deck is kind of going neglected. And the cargo deck is something that we both seem to be interested in. So she's discarding that one. So that's Sith Holocron gets discarded. It's 15,000 to buy this one. This one I was eyeing out earlier, so that one's going to go away. And reveal this one. But the reveal actions don't take place because she didn't actually purchase anything. So this is actually, with cargo, you also sometimes get mods. So with this deck, there's mods included. Not sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Always found that so interesting where it's not always just cargo. Yeah, cargo can be mod as well. Alright, so that concludes her turn, and I'm just going to shuffle that card into this deck. So it might actually come up again later. Slide it in there and shuffle a bit. Alright. Over to me. Hondo. Alright, so what are my options when I look at the card? Alright, so, man, I've got huskies and their hair keeps getting stuck to my plaster. Can't stand that. Anyways. Alright, so, move up to your ship's movement. Do I want to move? Yes, I do. I'm trying to get to remind myself Kessel or Mon Calamari, so they're both in that direction, so I'm quite happy to go that way. I'm hoping to avoid the Syndicate, and they're on this side here, so I'm fine. So I'm definitely going to move. And I've got crew, I've got Jyn Erso. It would be quite nice to get another crew. I just don't know if I'll be able to afford them if they require money, so I'm just going to go and try to drop this off. So I get to move 6, very similar to the GX short hauler or the previous, was it G9? Was it just, yeah, G9 rigger. So I get to move 6, so let's try to figure this out quickly. So if I land on Emphas Nest, I've got a personal goal. So we'll see that. I might be able to conclude that now. Don't want to overlook that. So my personal goal is choose another player in your space and test influence. If you pass, that player must choose and give you one of their cargo. That would be priceless if I managed to take Emphas back to supplies from her. She seems so hard pressed to drop them off. Place a gold token on that card. If you gain a card this way, gain 1 fame and flip this card. So I must place a gold token on that card. We'll find out when I flip this what that means. Okay. So I'm going to definitely move. I've got 6 spaces to get to Emphas, so I will go this route. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm on the same nav point as Emphas. Man, it does get crowded in the nav points if you're sharing them. Interesting. I'm just not sure you can be on a nav point together, so I'm just going to pull up the there's a learn to play guide. There's also this book here, which is the rules reference. So I'm just going to look up nav point. It's all alphabetical. So nav points, see spaces on page 15. So there are 3 types of spaces on the map: planets, nav points, and maelstrom. Planets are represented by illustrations. Nav points are represented by yellow circles. And the maelstrom is represented by a red dot. Spaces on the map are connected to each other by paths, which are represented by blue lines between the planets and nav points. The maelstrom is a unique space that has special movement rules. Some planets have faction icons, encounter cards. Some planets have faction icons on them. Encounter cards on these planets frequently allow players to gain reputation with that faction or reward players for having positive reputation with that faction. So they're just referring to these here. Banabu is Imperial. Though technically made from 2 large asteroids. The ring of Caferna is a planet for all game purposes. Yeah, they don't actually say much about nav points. I'm going to check movement. So that's just referring to patrols. So a player can freely move through other players. Interesting, yeah. If an ability moves a player or patrol directly to a space, that player or patrol is taken from its current space and placed on the space specified by the ability. Yeah, that's what we've done previously, it just hops. The player or patrol does not move through the spaces between its original space and its destination. Nav points, nearest opponent. And when I'm in the same space as Enfist Nest, I think a combat's going to happen. So that's something also that I didn't think about. So let's see. Combat. Combat arises when a card instructs you to fight a combat, such as a bounty, or when you encounter patrol. Players cannot attack each other unless a card specifically allows a player to fight combat against another player. So there has to be a card to allow that. So we can't actually fight each other. So that doesn't take place. Alright. With that out the way, I must roll and test. Pull this up again. So I must roll and test influence. Choose another player in your space and test influence. Okay, so that means it's 2 dice versus 2 dice. Enfist has influence. I have influence twice, so I get to land on all 3 symbols. And yeah. Alright, so Enfist got a crit, so she got 1 symbol and an eye. I got a crit and a regular hit. So I scored higher than her, so I win that exchange. So I tested higher. Just double check that. If you pass, alright. Choose another player in your space and test influence. If you pass. Okay, so I don't have to test influence against them. I just have to test influence, which I did pass. So basically, I've influenced Enfist Nest to give me her Bacta supplies. So somehow, it seems that Hondo might actually have somewhat Jedi tricks to convince her to hand it over, because she was quite attached to that. So I'm running a little bit out of space here. So I'm wondering how I can move this just so slightly so I can actually slip this cargo in. So I've actually got these Bacta tanks now. Bacta supplies. I must put a gold token on that. And I'm going to flip Hondo's card now to see this goal that I completed. Okay. It says here, if you gain this card this way, gain 1 fame and flip this card. So Hondo's gone up 3 fame for managing to convince Enfist Nest. I guess they're not enemies at this point. They both just these famous characters in the galaxy. So increase the reward on each of your cargo and jobs by 1,000. So that hasn't changed. Well, I haven't flipped it yet. Here we go. So that's still the same. Another player in your space can fight a combat against you as their encounter. If they win, they may discard a gold token from one of your cargo, gear, or mod cards to take that card. If you win, flip this card. So if they attack me, they're either going to take that cargo from me, or they're going to force me to flip this card. I can spend 10,000 to flip this card. So basically, it seems like I want this card to flip, because whenever I'm in their space and I flip and I test influence, I get 1 fame. So basically, Hondo is going to keep harassing the other player and just landing in their space and testing influence. So I kind of hope they want to attack me, or in some ways I'm going to spend 10,000, 10 credits, test influence, and get that fame if I am on the location. So, alright, so that's where the credits come in. 10,000 lets me flip this, and then I get on their location, I test influence, I get my credit, my 1 fame. Alright. Where's my player turn? Alright, so that was my movement phase. I took fairly long on that one. Perform any or all, so I can't deliver anything. I'm on a nav point. Can't do a market action. I'm not going to be fighting a patrol. Will I be resolving encounter? No. I will resolve a token? No. So I'm sitting out in nowhere. There is a card where I can resolve an encounter card in a nav point. Let me just... Yeah. I wonder if Emphist could have resolved an encounter card too on her turn. I'll have a look. Go back in the video to see if that card allowed her to do an encounter card. Alright, so the nav points have their own encounter cards, so I'll be doing that one. So there's no patrol. If you think you can make up some time by pushing your hyperdrive beyond the normal recommended limits, you may roll 5 dice. For each hit you roll, your ship suffers 1 damage. If you are not defeated, take an additional turn. Wow. Entire turn? That's ridiculous. Now, I wonder what this... Okay, so that's if there's a patrol, there's a job I can get. Alright, so I must roll 5 dice. If I'm not defeated. Okay. Well, my ship can take 4 hits, so I think I'll be fine. Unless I roll really badly. So, it doesn't say anything on crits, it just says hits. For each hit you roll, your ship suffers 1 damage. Nothing about crits. So, those I guess don't count. Alright. Alright, there's 1 hit, 1 crit. Actually, there's 2 hits. 2 hits, 1 crit, 1 eye. So I take 2 hits on my ship. The Hawk 290. Live to... I survive to what? I get to live another day. How does that go? Survive to live another day? Yeah, anyways. You may roll 5 dice. For each hit you roll, your ship suffers 1 damage. If you're not defeated, take an additional turn. So I'm going to put this underneath nav points. That's a crazy, crazy strong card. And man, at this point I was hoping it would be great if I had 10,000, because I could have spent that 10,000, flipped the card, tested influence again, and grabbed another fame point. But I can't do that right now, so I'm just going to book it, and I'm going to move to... I want to remove this gold token, because at the moment Emphist Nest has got no gold. She's just floating out in space. We've managed to convince her. Who knows, maybe we convinced her that these Bacta supplies were contaminated, or someone was chasing them, or maybe they were tracked. Somehow we tricked her. I'm going to just go for the full movement of 6 and try to get to Kessel. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will stop on a planet. That would be wise. Okay, So I get to deliver cargo bounties. Ooh, I could have gone to Takodana, but I'm going to actually... could have gone to Takodana. I'll back up, double back later on. Alright, so I can... I can't do anything at this location, Nalhata. I've got no jobs at Nalhata. I get to do a market action, and just reminding and just stating it that I can flip 2 cards of any deck if I don't like what's on top. And I don't have a lot of cash, so I'm probably going to take a job. And what does this job offer? Rebel Favor. The Rebel Alliance is looking for someone who knows their way around Imperial installations. Destination. Lothal. Okay. What's the reward? 5,000. 1 rebel reputation. If I already had positive rebel reputation, I would lose 1 Imperial and gain 1 fame. 5,000. And there's sort of conditions attached to this, so I'm going to discard this one and see if there's something better. What does this one say? The Jewel of Yavin. I remember this name. It's from a Fantasy Flight role-playing game. They had a campaign book called The Jewel of Yavin. The galaxy's elite gather at Naboo to bid on the dazzling Koruska gem, the Jewel of Yavin. It has already been stolen once, so you expect security to be tight. Cannot buy on Naboo. So I'm on Nalhata, that's fine. Destination is Naboo. Where is Naboo to me? That's heading back once again. We'll see. Gain 15,001 fame, then remove this card from the game. I am so taking that. Thank you very much. I don't have space for another job, so I can either chuck a job or keep this. Oh, what to do? That's 15,001 fame. This is 5,001 fame. That's 10,002 fame. And they all require to resolve cards. I'm going to leave this out and maybe grab it once I've delivered one of my jobs. So I shouldn't have been looking at that. I should have maybe looked at mods. That's fine. I can still buy from the mod deck, or even cargo. So I've got. Do I have space for cargo? I don't have space for cargo. So I'll grab gear. What gears on offer? There's mods. There's ion cannons and proton torpedoes. They're out of my price range. So I can buy cargo. Once again, I can't take that. So yeah, it's out of my price range. Okay. I can't really do much. I can't do much. I'm going to leave the Jewel of Yavin there. Yavin. Alright, let's have a look here. Fighter Patrol. No, not the case. Resolve an encounter card or resolve a contact token. I'm going to resolve another contact token. Oh, I don't really have enough cash here. I might lose out on this, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to have a look at who this orange contact is. It's Ahsoka. So I've actually just watched a few episodes of Clone Wars. I haven't watched all of it. It feels like it's geared to a younger audience, and I struggle to stay engaged. But time and time again, people tell me to say, stay the course, and it's really worth it. But yeah, I'm still returned to it. I've watched it, stepped away. I've watched like 1 episode, 2 episodes, walked away for months, and then I came back and I tried again, watched 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 3, walked away, maybe 3rd time's the charm. Alright, so Ahsoka, her token says, I'm just looking at card 24. I'll do that now. There's only one card 24, so I'll just turn this sideways. Where's card 24 say? Ahsoka Tano. Her twin lightsabers spin in a blur of white light, deflecting the stormtroopers' blaster fire. But their numbers are too great, and they have cornered her. You may fight a ground combat against stormtroopers. They're rolling 5. What am I rolling? Ground combat 2. Yeah, that's brutal. If you do, lose 1 Imperial reputation. If you win, gain 1 Rebel reputation, and you may spend 6,000 to gain the crew below and discard Ahsoka Tano's token. So I don't even have the required credits to get her. Let's just see what she offers. We can always come back for her later. I gain 2 combat if I get her, and after you win a ground combat, gain 1 fame and discard this crew, and she adds knowledge and stealth. I'm just going to put that back. And that concludes my turn. So I can only do 1 action on the encounter step. Okay. Alright, so we're back. It's the AI's turn. So let's just flip over the AI's card and see what is Enfist's options. So planning step, do the first that applies. If defeated, recover all damage. She's not defeated. Move towards closest goal. Now, she has 2 goals. One, Ord Mantell, which is her original origin, and this cargo. It's got a gold token on it. They've designed it that the AI always has somewhere to go if they don't have a job or a bounty or cargo. So I'm the closest, so she's going to move. She's got 6 movements. She can move towards me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she's on the Nalhata with me. I'm just going to have a look at this card again and remind myself. Another player in your space can fight a combat against you in their encounter, as their encounter. If they win, they may discard a goal token from one of your cargo gear or mod cards to take that card. If you win, flip this card. Or I can spend 10,000 during my turn. So, when it comes to the encounter step, she's going to attack me. So let's just go action step. If so she's used the movement for planning step. Action step, if at cargo destination, deliver it. So she's got no cargo. And then it's by, I believe that's cargo, I keep forgetting. That's a job. So she gets to buy a job, and she's probably going to grab the job that I wanted. And place a gold token on card's destination. So she's grabbing the Jewel of Yevon. That's the job that I was hoping to grab. And that job is at Naboo. So I'm going to just pop this card on her track under jobs and put a gold token on Naboo. Okay. Alright, so next step for the AI, and that was free. The job is free, but because she purchased it, we're going to need to flip this card. So we're going to have to action this icon. The hut, I think it is. No, yeah, it is the hut. The hut moves 3 spaces towards her. So the hut currently is over here. So we'll just move 3 spaces towards Enfist. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that covers the action step. Then we do the encounter step. So if negative reputation matching a patrol in this space, encounter that patrol. So she doesn't have a negative reputation with the Imperial. If she did, that would have been interesting, because then I think she would have to engage the Imperial instead of me. But in this case, she gets to fight a combat against me. Alright, so her ship rolls 2 combat dice. And my ship rolls 3, so that's great. And I'm going to have a look at my crew quickly. This is Jin Urso. Once per turn, during combat or a skill test, you may turn one of your eyes into a crit. And a crit counts for 2 hits. And whoever gets the most hits wins that exchange. You don't have to eliminate the person, you just have to land the most hits and you win. But their hits still cause damage on you. So I'm going to make sure I use that. I don't have any other additional bonuses other than just Jin Urso's ability. And Enfys Nest hasn't got any basic boons. So I'm going to roll now and see what we get. Alright, so Enfys gets a blank and an eye. I roll 2 eyes and a crit. So I'll be turning one of those into a crit as well. So it's 2 crits, that's 4 hits. So I land 4 hits on Enfys Nest, as she's basically figured out that I tricked her regarding that back to supplies. Yeah. So she's basically figured out that I tricked her regarding that back to supplies. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not contaminated, or there's no tracker on it, or whatever kind of story Hondo spun. So I'm going to drop 4 damage counters on her ship. She can handle 5. So I do win that combat, and that's great for Hondo, because Hondo, she doesn't take that gold token from me. And it says here, if you win, flip this card. So I don't have to spend 10,000 to flip this card. I get to do that for free. And on my turn, I can once again do my personal goal, where I get to test influence. And I can potentially gain fame from that. So take some of her cargo and gain fame. Just want to see if I can grab, what all can I grab? I think it's just cargo. Take one of their cargo, gear, or mods. I wish I could take one of their jobs, because I want that job, the jewel for Yavin. But I still have to drop off my job. I haven't got space for that. Okay. Let's see what else. And that would conclude, because you can only do 1 action in the encounter step. So I'm going to put that at the bottom of the AI deck. And it is Hondo's turn next. Alright, so it's over to Hondo. Hondo's turn. Let's have a look. Okay. So Hondo will definitely want to do this personal goal, and that means during the encounter phase I'll be doing that. So Hondo will not want to leave Null Hutta just yet, so we'll gain 2,000 credits. And next step is we can deliver cargo, which the 2 destinations is Mon Calamari and Kessel that I'm headed to, and the other one is Takodana. So I won't be delivering cargo, but I may discard the top 2 cards of the market deck and purchase 1. Or trade with another player, but trading with AI is not an option. So he's got 5,000 credits. Not really in the mood for bounties, because that's combat generally, I think. I've got no space for cargo. Do I want to grab a mod? A mod's 5,000. What would that mod do? This one's going to it's called Ion Cannon. During ship combat, cancel one of your opponent's hits. If you have tactics, you may instead cancel 1 crit. So I do have tactics. Do I? Yeah, I've got tactics because of Jin Urso. So, definitely going to want to do that, because Enfys Nest is going to be chasing me and trying to do ship combat, so I'm grabbing that mod. So I'll fit that onto the Hawk 290 freighter. That's going to set Hondo back everything that he has. Alright, now we've got to still flip this card, and there is icons that need to be resolved. So the first one is, that is the Syndicate's going to move 3 spaces towards me. Let me just track down, where's the Syndicate? The Syndicate's been sitting here in the Spinewood core for quite a while, so they're going to move 3 spaces. So it's 1, 2, 3. That's not too bad. Then Hondo gets to flip 1 token, and I believe you start with the lowest token. Yeah, I covered this last time, but I believe you have to start with the lowest token and then work your way up. You can't just choose. So we'll grab this one, flip it, and we've just flipped Lobot. I used to call him Lobot, but I guess it's Lobot. Funny looking dude. Alright, so that resolves these icons, and this card goes to the top of the market deck. Alright. Let's see. I get to fight a patrol. I have to if it's a negative reputation. So there's the Imperials, and I don't have a negative reputation, so that's fine. I get to resolve an encounter card or contact token. So this is where I'll be doing it during the encounter phase, and I'll read it again. It's choose another player in your space and test influence. If you pass, that player must choose and give you one of their cargo gear or mod cards. Place a gold token on that card. If you gain a card this way, oh, it's only if I gain a card this way. Well, that's terrible. If you gain a card this way, flip a token. Oh no. That's tragic. That's tragic. That's really bad. Hondo, I guess we're going to play this out narratively, but Hondo thought he was going to pull a quick influence on Enfys Nest, but Enfys has got nothing to swindle. He can't really take much off of her, so he's shot himself in the foot a little bit. But maybe he can get crew. So maybe he can take Lobot as crew. Hondo's wise enough not to try to acquire Ahsoka, because Ahsoka's pretty much very combat geared, and he needs to be combat geared to benefit from that, and he won't be able to roll in the combats that she's involved in. So let's have a look at the Lobot. So that's 18. Let's see, where's his card? Okay, let me just put these sideways. Alright. Lobot's brain-enhancing device allows him direct contact with complex computer systems. Surely you can find a use for such skills. If you are Lando Calrissian, you may gain the crew below and discard Lobot's token. Otherwise, you may spend 2,000. Oh, Hondo. No, buddy. You're broke. To gain the crew below and discard Lobot's token. So that's a negative. 2,000 would have been such an easy, cheap price to pay. It would have added tech, and he's got additional abilities where it says, yeah, when you choose to gain credits during the planning phase, gain an additional 1,000 for each positive reputation you have. Well, I don't have any positive reputation, and I actually don't think that's such a great ability. And I've only got space for one more crew, so yeah, that's I would say quite a bad decision for Hondo to hang around on Nal Hutta to try to swindle or influence Enfys Nest, considering the circumstances. She might not have fallen for it, but besides the point, she's got nothing for him to actually kind of take off her hands. Alright, so we're going to go over to Enfys Nest, and we'll see planning step: do the first that applies. If defeated, recover all damage. She's nearly defeated, and she's going to probably be defeated now because she's going to come after Hondo big time. Move to the closest goal. She's on the same planet as Hondo, so she's not going to go anyway. She'll still gain 2,000. Okay. Then do all that apply. If at a cargo destination, deliver it. So she's not she needs to go to Naboo. She gets to buy gear for 4,000. She can afford that. So I'm just going to give 5,000 credits and take 1,000 credits change. And she'll grab a bowcaster. I'm so glad that she's not grabbing a ship mod. During combat, you may rotate this card to gain +2. Now I must just double check if they do that. I believe the AI would rotate a card. I'm not sure if they do. I think they do. Action test strength. If you pass, rotate this card. If you fail, you may spend 1,000 to rotate this card. So it's actually gear, but you have to rotate it to use it. That's very strange. So during combat, you may rotate this card to gain 2,000. So it doesn't really do anything for you until you rotate it when you're in combat. What's that supposed to simulate? Loading it? And then you're supposed to test strength. And if you pass, rotate this card. If you fail, you may spend 1,000 to rotate this card. During combat, you may rotate this card to gain 2,000. I wonder if AI would rotate the card. I'll have to look into that quickly to see if they do rotate, but it costs her 4,000 regardless. And the AI does buy things that it may not benefit from. It's just simulating the market deck rotation and movement. So that does happen. Just going to action the icons on the next card first. So the Imperials move 3 towards. The Imperials are... Oh, they're not top of us, so they'll move 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Right, so let's have a look at rotation cards. I'll actually have a look in the rules reference. Now I don't know if... where's rotation? No, rotation isn't there. I'm going to have a look. That's probably from the new expansion, rotation cards. You just pull it out and see. You can actually see on the corner of the card if it's from the expansion or not. And yes, it is from the expansion, unfinished business. So I'll have a look in that rule book to see if there's anything I can gain knowledge from. So let's see. Rotating assets. Some market cards have assets at both ends of the card. Each of these cards has an arrow in the upper left corner of one of the assets indicating that this is the starting asset for the card. So there's a little arrow in the corner of the bowcaster. When a player buys or gains one of these cards from the market, they pay the cost of the starting asset and place the card in a slot so that the starting asset is visible and the other asset is tucked under the ship, sheet, or player board. Okay. They don't say anything about AI. Optional rules, so I'll have to go to the AI section to see what they say about rotating cards. So single player rules, discarding, rotating cargo. When the AI player delivers a cargo that rotates, they rotate the card and move its gold token to the new destination. So they do. They're saying cargo here, but I'm sure they're referring to gear as well. Reveal context, favors, ambitions. So when the AI player delivers a cargo that rotates, they rotate that card. Strangely enough, they just say cargo. And that's gear. Counters, crew. Using AI opponents. Okay. They don't say anything, but I presume that's how you would do it. You wouldn't limit them to not rotate, and I don't see any text that says otherwise. Alright, so they've acquired the market card. The next step is reveal. I must do all. Emphasis Nest must do all that applies. Reveal the face down token, contact token of the lowest class on this planet. So there's only one left. So it's yellow, and that is Saul Guerrera. Wow. All right. He would be an amazing crew, I think. I don't know what he offers, but I've got a feeling it won't be easy to acquire him. All right. Encounter step to the first that applies. So there's no negative patrol. So the AI will encounter Hondo again. So that is 2 versus 3. And Hondo gets to turn one eye into a crit. And I believe this is going to be a devastating hit to Amethyst. Amethyst actually lands 2 hits. Oh no, so they basically shoot each other down because Hondo lands a crit and a hit, which is 3 on Amethyst. So Hondo takes out Amethyst's ship, and Amethyst takes out Hondo's ship because Hondo can only handle 4 hits, and there's already 4 on. There was already 2 on the ship, so they've both been taken out. Now there are rules for when you get taken out, and I will share that quickly. So combat, resolving, combat against patrols, skill tests, defeated. You lose 3,000 credits and discard all of your secrets. So we don't have any secrets at the moment, but we're going to lose 3,000, and so is the AI. Okay, so just double check that's 3,000 and lose any secrets. So Honda doesn't have 3,000. I don't believe that's game over. It's also a question that I wondered about before, is what happens if you don't have 3,000? Because they don't actually cover that. Yep, if you haven't got 3,000 to lose, you just don't lose anything. That's how I'm going to read it. So I've always seen it. So Emphas loses 3,000, Hondo loses nothing, but Hondo is going to need to recover on his next step instead of move. So that's really bad. So we're still stuck in that location. We flipped the card though. Personal goal encounter. So very curious as well. He has a bit of a oversight on the rules, because they don't. If you win, you flip this card. But are you supposed to remove the contact token? The goal, I mean. If they win, they may discard a gold token from one of your cargo gear mods and take that card. If you win, just flip this card. So they don't say anything because she's still going to pursue us. Because the gold token's still on you. That's a bit confusing. Because we've still got the gold token on the Bacta supplies. Is she going to just keep trying to attack us? They don't tell us to remove the gold token, so I'm going to leave it on, which means she is going to keep pursuing us. But there's no instructions. It's no longer facing. This, I'm sure, doesn't apply anymore. But she still has a goal on us. So that's a real annoying bit of muddy rules there. Because this, another player in your space can fight a combat against you as their encounter. If they win, they may discard this stuff. Because this is flipped now. Which means that doesn't apply anymore. She's got a gold token on us. I really don't know what to do about this. I'll have to go and go online and see what they say about this. Okay, so I've resolved it. So, Empress Nest, looking at the rulebook and checking online, she does still pursue Hondo with the gold token. She won't be flipping that gear card because that would be activating an ability, so AI doesn't do that. So it's essentially a redundant card that she's purchased just to cycle and simulate play. The AI deck does give sufficient aid to the AI that doesn't actually hold them back. That just simulates market deck movement. So that concludes Empress Nest's turn. So I'm going to put the card on the bottom of the AI deck. And it will be over to Hondo. Hondo is sitting with a lot of damage on his ship, so his first turn would be to recover all damage. That's from the character and the ship. So that's not... Okay, I don't actually have any damage on Hondo, so I'll just remove the 4 hits of the ship. Just want to see here. There's something that I might need to evaluate here. Hondo might have survived. What does this say? I remember buying this. Okay, so during ship combat, cancel one of your opponent's hits. If you have tactics, you may instead cancel a crit. So I'm going to have to review what they rolled, what Empress Nest rolled. But essentially, it looks like Hondo, using an ion cannon, survived. So he wouldn't have taken as many hits as I thought. So I'm going to review that and come straight back. Alright, so that's correct. The ion cannons did prevent 1 hit. Empress Nest rolled, their ship shot 2 regular hits. So the ion cannon gets to remove or cancel one of my opponent's hits. So that means Hondo survived that attack, which is great. I probably wish I didn't spend that 1,000 because I would have flipped automatically, but I did spend that 1,000 credits, and that's done and dusted. Alright, so on his first turn, he doesn't actually have to recover, and I'm probably as Hondo, I'm going to make Hondo beeline out of there, because Empress is going to need to repair her ship, so she won't be able to chase immediately after him. And Hondo has got no reason to remain there because she hasn't got any cargo or gear for him to influence her to take from her. So yeah, there's definitely a definite rivalry happening here. So Hondo is going to move. I just want to get my book. All right, so he will do 6 movement. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna have to stop on that patrol, but he's got neutral reputation of that patrol. But Honda's ship is still going. It's probably sputtering smoke and sparks. Alright, the next step would be deliver cargo or bounties. Not an option. Market action is not an option. Fight a patrol. I don't want to fight with the Imperial. Thank you very much. Honda's just basically gunning out of there because Amethyst is figured out what he's done. So he can resolve an encounter card or resolve a contact token. So he will resolve an encounter card, and that would be a nav point 1. And this states if you have positive, neutral, positive, neutral syndicate reputation, you read this. He's got a negative, so I'll have to read the bottom one. So there appears to be a bounty hunter on your tail. Test piloting. If you fail, fight a ship combat against a bounty hunter of 4 attack. If you win, prevent 2 damage from this combat. Test piloting. If you fail, fight a ship combat. Okay, obviously, so if you win, you can prevent 2 damage from this combat, but if you pass piloting, none of that even happens. Alright, so let's have a look. So it appears that Amethyst has sent a bounty hunter. Well, Hondo suspects it's Amethyst. And she sent the bounty hunter after him. So he has to test piloting. He doesn't have piloting. So let's have a look if he does, if he's able to, what he's able to achieve here. Okay, so he's got to roll a hit, and he's got no skill, but he rolls a pass. So he manages to avoid that bounty hunter. So Hondo, with no piloting skill, seems to be quite resourceful and has managed to evade this bounty hunter. So this card is just going to go back. It's going to be discarded underneath the nav point encounter deck, and Hondo has managed to dodge a bounty hunter, and he's probably questioning who sent that. Alright. And that would conclude Hondo's turn. You can do no more actions other than that. And then over to Amethyst. Alright, so if defeated, recover all damage. She would need to do that. So there's a lot of damage on this ship, far more than it's needed. 7 damage. She can only take 5. So she's going to spend a full planning phase, however much time that is in real world time. She's spending that on Nal Hutta, probably speaking to some of the locals and throwing some credit around. Or maybe putting a favor, because it doesn't look like she's spending credit. Maybe someone owes her a favor there, or maybe she's getting the job done herself. But yeah, she's just repaired her ship. Then the action step, do all that apply. So if at a cargo destination, deliver it. She's not. She gets to buy a job. Let's see what job she buys. So that would be, so she's already bought the Jewel of Yavin, which I wasn't happy about. Now she's grabbing this one. rooting out spies. Mars senses that there are Imperial agents in her midst, and she has asked for help rooting out the spies. It cannot bound Takodana, and the destination is Takodana. And Emphas can get 5,001 fame from this, and it's free. So she's grabbing that job. She'll be putting a token on Takodana, and the other token is on Naboo. Alright, so Emphas on the next turn is going to be questioning if she should be pursuing Hondo or if she should be pursuing these jobs. Now, does that conclude her turn? Not yet. So encounter step to the first that applies. So if negative reputation with patrol, and there's no patrol on Null Hutter, so she can spend 8,000 to gain 1 fame. So she is using her credits to gain reputation. I'm not sure who, but in Null Hutter, probably not with the syndicates. She's got a negative reputation with the syndicates, but yeah, probably with the Hutts. She is increased in fame, and it's cost her 8,000 credits. So just she goes from 2 fame to 3, and that will be her final step on this turn. We just got to flip that card on the encounter, the market deck, to see what icons needs to be resolved. And the syndicate's going to move, get that in focus, 4 towards Emphas. So the syndicate's all the way here. That's not good for Hondo because essentially the syndicate's going to come past Hondo, and Hondo's got negative the syndicate, but so does Emphas. So that was 4. So we go, doesn't really matter at this point. I get to choose. So we 1, 2, that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's pretty much the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So syndicate sitting with the rebels on Mount Calamari. So yeah, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that concludes Emphas' turn. So back to Hondo. So Hondo's got to be very careful. He doesn't want to hang around because she doesn't really have gear or cargo for him to influence. Maybe he has some dirt on her and that's why she's handing it over. Who knows? So he gets to move his ship's distance. So he's going to want to get some distance between him and Emphas. And Emphas is going to need to deal with an Imperial. The Imperials will cause her to stop, which is great. So he can actually use that in his advantage and just stop by Castle. So that's 1, 2, 3. He's on Castle. Does he have any jobs at Castle? Yes, he does. He's got the Castle run. Let's have a look at this. Alright, just going to read this text again. So the Kessel run. Deep under the surface of Kessel is a rich vein of coaxium ore. You've been hired to steal some. You can't buy this on Kessel, and I need to resolve card 46. And the reward of this is 10,000 credits and 2 fame. So let's have a look. And just a reminder that Hondo gets 1,000 extra credits. That's just his ability. So I have to flip over card 46. Okay, I'm just going to put these here. There's 2 46 cards. Okay, so Just need to choose one at random. I'll put this one here. Where is it? Here. So turn this to the sides along. Alright, so let's read that. So there was 2 card 46s, and you need to choose one at random. Okay, let's get that in focus. The Kessel Run. The plan requires you to obtain some uniforms so the pikes will not notice you. Test tactics and then test knowledge. For each test you fail, your character suffers 1 damage. Alright, so grab 2 dice. First thing we're going to test is tactics. Hondo does he have tactics? He doesn't, but Jin also has tactics. So let's roll 2. That means we get we pass on a hit and a crit. Okay. All right. So if we don't get a hit and we've only got an eye, we can use. Let's see. We're going to use Jin Urso's ability. Once per turn during combat or skill test, you may turn 1 eye result to a crit. So we're going to use her ability, and that's done. So we can't use Jin Urso's ability, but Jin Urso basically comes to the rescue. Hondo wasn't. The situation changed on him last minute, and he needed to use tactics. Maybe he's a great strategist, but not very good with tactics. And Jin Urso came and brought in her tactics to assist, and they have moved past whatever obstacle they were facing. Maybe it was some security guards. Now he needs to test. What was the? Where did I put the card? Here we go. The second thing that he needed to test was knowledge. So once again, 2 dice. He does have knowledge, so he can pass on a hit or a crit. Okay, and what we're going to do, so there's, that's a fail, so he fails the knowledge test, so maybe they ran into some guards and tactics helped them to avoid the first patrol. The second patrol, they bumped straight into them, they couldn't avoid them, and they maybe had to answer some questions, and they didn't have the knowledge, so it got physical. They overcame that, but there's 1 damage that goes onto Hondo's armor vest. You can take up to 2 on this armor vest. Alright, so the quest carries on, the job, so it moves from 1 to 2. You infiltrate the Pike's security office to find out when the next shipment of coaxium is scheduled to leave the planet. Test influence. If you fail, the job fails. Keep the card. Alright, so Hondo has influence and so does Jin Urso. And I've just realized now, Jin Urso and Hondo both have influence, and that's what I have to use against Amethyst. So it's a pretty good way of milking that approach of getting fame from his personal goal. But anyways, we'll test influence now. They basically, they're trying to find out when the next shipment of coaxium ore is scheduled to leave the planet, because that is what they've been hired to get, to steal. So in this case, it's on a hit, a crit, and an eye, because there's 2 cases of influence. So, alright, so I just rolled 2 blanks, so I fail the test. So I was testing influence and I failed. I get to keep the card, but the job is failed. So that, let me just have a look at my player's turn, and I believe that concludes my turn, because I was doing an encounter card. Alright, so that concludes my turn. So Hondo is done, but he gets to keep the job card, so he gets to keep this job card. So I'll slip this back in underneath. And I'll move over to, and I'll put this back in the deck. Alright, and we'll move back over to Infus Nest. Alright, taking the next AI card, let's see what it says. If defeated, recover all damage. Not defeated. Move towards nearest goal. So that would still be Hondo. Hondo would still be her nearest goal. So she gets to move 6. 1, 2. No, she might go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4 should stop there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she gets to me this way. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, she's reached me. Alright. Next step, do all that apply. Buy a new ship. If unable, buy new gear, I think. Was that a mod? A new mod. Alright, so the ship is 15,000. She's only got 10, but we are allowed to flip over the top 2 cards. So we'll get rid of the Aztec anti-slaver, basically a Wookiee gunship. So that's the first card they flipped over. So this one's 20. And just double check, her ship is worth her ship is worth 5 and she's got 10. So she can actually buy the Aztec gunship, which is perfect. And this is the next card that we would have flipped over anyways, which is the YT 1300. Millennium Falcon, basically. Alright, so she gets the Aztec gunship, Wookiee gunship. So that card taken out of the game. Is it? No, I think it's discarded. The card is discarded, which means it goes to the bottom. I believe more than one person can buy that ship. I can't remember. No, I think it is taken out. I don't think there's the same ship can't be bought multiple times. So taking her ship off the board. Find the new ship tile, I guess. What do you want to call it? Ship card. Yeah, so she's got the Aztec gunship. So she's gone from stats of 625 to 646. Oh, that is brutal. Brutal. Alright, so we can actually put her ship back in. So she had the Hawk 290. No, she didn't. She had the. What ship did she buy a long time ago? It was the GX one-shot hauler. So that goes back underneath this deck. Returns, I believe. Doesn't stay out again. Okay, and then she's lost to pay her balance. Okay, so she traded in her her GX1 short hauler. Okay, there's no icons that need to be actioned off that purchase. Next step. Do the first that applies. If in a negative reputation matching a patrol in the space, encounter that patrol. So the patrol she's managed to avoid. So she's managed to go around the patrol. And I'm wondering, in a situation like that, would she was, yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This way would have been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that would have been the shortest route anyways. But I wonder if there's a patrol, if the AI makes the best decision. I'm sure they do. Alright, so the next would be if Infus Nest has an empty crew slot, reveal the face down contact token of the lowest class on this planet and gain the crew on its card for free. Okay. Now the lowest is already Dengar, so she would get Dengar for free. It's already revealed. So take the token off the board, and I will have a look at the Dengar's card. It's number 8. Can't remember what it was again. What does Dengar do? So Dengar isn't really a crew that you can normally obtain. As you can see, Dengar does something differently for you. Now, normally you don't action any abilities on cards. So Dengar is an interesting one. Like, what does the AI do with Dengar? I guess you just discard Dengar's token. So this goes back in the deck because they don't action text. So I wonder, does he just sit in the crew? I wonder what happens with a character like Dengar. There's quite a few situations in this game where things like this happen, where I'm not sure what to do. I'll pop Dengar under as crew and just review that rule quickly, see if I can find an answer for that rule. Let's have a look. Yeah. They don't say what's going to happen with the AI regarding Dengar. Okay, let me go back to AI rules. Counters. Crew. The crew is removed from the game. The AI player gains. If it wins combat, they resolve the following according to the type of encounter. Okay, so that's a bounty. Those are opposed bounties. Nothing about gaining crew. So we'll have to go look at the other book. So this is all about bounties. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the other rulebook quickly, see what they say about AI player and crew. See at the back. Okay, so I'm just check the rules and reference page 18 to 19. So I don't really cover much else here. Going to the third book. Alright. Gaining crew. Some cards allow the AI player to gain crew from contact tokens. It follows all normal rules for crew, except it does not fully resolve the contact tokens databank cards. Instead, draw the databank card, and if there is a crew asset on the card, place the crew in an empty crew slot on the AI player ship. The AI player does not spend any credits, perform any tests, or otherwise resolve the abilities on the databank card. If the AI player does not have an empty crew slots, does not have any empty crew slots, it randomly discards one of its crew to make room for the new crew. Follow normal rules for discarding crew. If the databank card does not have crew on it, discard the card back to the deck. AI cards always instruct the player to reveal face down contact tokens. However, if there are no face down contact tokens on the planet, the AI player resolves the lowest class fewest pips face down token on the planet. Let me read it again. AI always instruct the player to reveal face-down contact tokens. However, if there are no face-down contact tokens on the planet, the AI player resolves the lowest class fewest pips face up. Okay. If there are two face-down tokens, face-down or face-up contact tokens of the same class on the planet, the AI player will resolve the leftmost. The AI player does not protect the crew from bounties. Alright. Alright, so first of all, I should have flipped the face down, and second of all, they would have not gotten crew. So that's clarified. So first of all, I should not have used Dengar because it says face down, not face up. But if it was Dengar, they would have just put the card back in without getting the crew. But they wouldn't have discarded the token or the card. It just doesn't get resolved. So Ampest will flip over Mars Kanata. What's it? Kanata. Mars Kanata? Kanata? Mars Kanata. Alright, so they're going to probably gain her as crew now. So that's card 19. Let's see what it says. Okay, so they don't have to resolve any of that. They just get the crew and go straight onto their ship, onto her ship. Okay. And the token gets removed from the game. Alright. And they don't have to pay for that either. Lucky. Next one. Discard the top card of the is that bounty? Where is bounty? Yeah. So discard the top card of the bounty. What else did it say? And the mod deck. So that goes down. That flips over. I don't believe we action this, so they didn't buy it. It's just telling us to cycle. And then mod deck as well. Okay. Then shuffle this AI card back into the AI deck. So they're not going to pursue their goal. So I'm very, very fortunate that Ampest she's on the planet with me, but she's not going to pursue me. She's not going to encounter me. Okay, my turn. Alright, Hondo. Move your ship's value. I don't. I want to try and resolve Kessel. Although, probably as my encounter step, I'm probably going to encounter Ampest, because I can actually get free fame from this. So, if you pass, that player must choose and give you one of their cargo. Choose another player in your space and test influence. I get cargo from them. So only if I get something from her. So she hasn't got cargo. She's got gear. Is it gear or cargo? Excellent. So she's actually got gear. So I can actually take that from her. And I just have to pass influence, and then I gain that gear and 1 fame. So I'm definitely going to sit tight. Hondo will take the 2,000 credits. He's quite broke at the moment. His ship's pretty messed up too. Maybe I should recover the ship. Yeah, I'll recover the ship rather. So clearing all damage off the ship and off Hondo. Alright. Deliver cargo and bounties. So this is a job. I do have vector supplies, but that's not a destination. And I do have gear, so I can't do that. So I can do a market action, but I don't have any space for more jobs. So I'm not even going to do that. Fighter patrol, not needed. Resolve an encounter card. Resolve a contact token. So what I can do is, it's now that I get to do this, so it's during the encounter step, I must just test influence against Emperor's Nest. So that's 2 dice, I must roll, and because Hondo has influence and so does Jin Urso, I get to pass on a hit, a crit and an eye. Alright, so definitely passed, a hit and a crit. So Hondo, let's paint a scenario. So Emperor's Nest has come to pursue Hondo regarding that Bacta supplies, and his influence that he applied on her. He's probably tricked her that the Bacta supplies were traced, and he would get rid of it for her. Now he is managed to reinforce that, even though she probably sent the bounty hunter after him, and he's going to take gear. He's going to take this weapon off her hands, probably to say that he needs this bowcaster to defend against bounty hunters, because he's noticed bounty hunters are after this cargo as well. And we'll slip that gear here on Hondo's character sheet, character card. He gets 1 fame, so he's gone from 5 up to 6. And we're flipping his personal goal. So we're putting another goal token on this gear. So Emperor's Nest is going to be pursuing us twice now. There's a gold token on the bowcaster and a gold token on the Bacta supplies, and I'm flipping this card over. Just check the rewards. Yep. Alright. That concludes Hondo's turn, and we will move over to Emperor's Nest. Emperor's Nest next. Alright, so we're moving over to Amphyst again. So let's have a look. Alright. If defeated, recover all damage. She's not defeated. She's got a really nice ship. Move towards closest goal. Hondo is her closest goal, so she'll remain where she is. So she'll gain 2,000. Hondo's on 6 fame, Amphyst is on 3, so Hondo's pretty close to winning. Still 4 more. Alright. If at cargo destination, deliver it. She doesn't have any cargo. Buy that cargo, right? Yeah, she gets to buy cargo. Buy cargo and place a gold token on that card's destination. Alright, so she has 1,000, so she can afford this cargo. And there'll be more cargo for us to steal. Although we kind of need to drop off that other cargo, so we actually I think we can. I think we can drop cargo to put new cargo in. So if we take this cargo from her, we can discard our other cargo. That's pretty good. I'll just double check that. So blaster parts can't buy on Cantonica, which we are not, we're in Kessel. So she wants to deliver it at Cantonica. Where is that? Oh, there we go. So, grab a gold token. Sounds like I'm saying gold, but goal, G-O-A-L. Put that on Cantonica. And she gets 5,000, and she gets to rotate the card instead of discarding it. I'll see what happens later, I don't want to spoil that, but yeah, 5,000 if she gets to drop that off. And yeah, well, she only got one cargo slot, so not a lot of space on this Wookiee gunship for cargo. Alright, she grabs that, and that cost 1,000. She'll just pay for that. Alright, and there is icons to actions, so that is the Syndicate's going to move 3 towards her. Where is the Syndicate right now? Syndicate's over here. So that is 1, 2, 3. Whew, pretty close. And I've got Hondo's got negative reputation with the Syndicate. What else does need to be action? She gets to flip a contact token. So Empress Nest will flip this orange one. And it's Bosk. Alright, so he's on Planet Kessel. Wonder what work he's doing here. He's a bounty hunter, right? Bosk. Alright. So those are the 2 actions on that cargo card. She doesn't get to gain that, but she can maybe an action later on a card will let her gain that crew. If negative reputation regarding patrol and they're too far away. If at a job destination completed, she's not at a job destination. Reveal the face down contact token of the lowest class on this planet and gain the crew on its card for free. There's no more face down, so she doesn't actually gain any crew, but she can spend 8,000 to gain 1 fame, and she doesn't even have 8,000. So really hard turn for her, and she doesn't even get to encounter me. Let's have a look. What does this card say again? Just make sure I'm not messing up. Another player in your space can fight a combat against you as their encounter. If they win, they must discard a gold token from one of your cargo, gear, or mods to take that card. If you win, flip this card. If another player in your space can fight a combat, against you as their encounter. So I should have actually added on the previous round a chance for her to fight a combat against me, but I'm just going to go forward and allow her to do it now. So she gets to fire 4 dice at me, and I get to fire 3 back at her. But I do have, let's have a look here. I do have ion cannons, and yeah, I've got a bowcaster that's only for ground combat, and I've got Jyn Erso's ability. So once per turn during combat or a skill test, you may turn 1 eye result to a hit, and the ion cannon during combat cancel one of your opponent's hits. If you have tactics, you may instead cancel a crit. And I do have tactics, so let's have a look. They have 1 hit, so I'm going to cancel that to a blank. So we're using tactics, Jyn Erso, we'll say the ion cannons hit the Wookiee gunship and disable that shot that we're trying to shoot at me. And let's have a look at what does Hondo roll. A hit and a hit. 2 hits. It's a pretty good combat round against Emphist. put those over here. Just remind myself quickly. If you win, flip this card. Alright. So Hondo gets to flip the card again. And she doesn't claim the cargo back. Just make sure, is there anything else I get? Nope. But I do get to encounter her and do the influence test once again. So I'm going to discard the AI card to the bottom of her deck. So Honda is really potent against the AI, because once I've used my personal goal on her, it's brutal. Alright. Let's have a look here. Moving your ship, no thanks. Do I want to gain 2,000? Yes, I do. Do I want to purchase anything? No. Do I want to fight patrol? No. Resolve an encounter card, which would be an encounter step. So I will do that. It's against Emphas Nest. He's going to resolve influence, and he's going to try to get the blaster parts from Emphas. Alright, we've got one hit, which is a pass. So I'm just double check what happens to, if I already have cargo, I know when I get cargo. Can I just discard my cargo? Not really saying much. Talking about combat here. Defeated, ship goals, jobs, bounties, combat. What? They don't really mention cargo at all, it seems, unless I'm mistaken. Okay, I guess the deliver action, market action. Here we go. If each slot can hold one card. If you do not have an empty slot of that type, you may discard one of your cards to make room. Some of the market cards have a trait listed before the abilities, such as illegal weapon or armor. Traits are always shown in all capital letters. They have no inherent effect, but may be referenced by other abilities. So I may discard. So I'm definitely going to take Emphas Nest's blaster parts. Honda's once again using influence, and I don't know if he's using if he's buying Emphas drinks or what, but he's able to manipulate her quite severely. So blaster parts will go onto the Hawk 290 with the goal token on it. And this previous back to supplies is going to go to the bottom of the cargo deck as discarded. What just happened there? What's going on there? Alright. So basically, how Hondo must be probably telling emphasized that the syndicate is most likely after both of them, and that the cargo that she's after maybe belongs to them. Yeah, he's somehow influenced her drastically, that she just keeps handing over the cargo. Could be that maybe he has some blackmail on her, maybe he has some dirt, maybe she owes him something and he just keeps cashing in. And secretly, she doesn't want to make good on that debt, and she's sent a bounty hunter after him. But whenever she runs into him, she's like, oh, yeah, all right, I got some cargo for you. Yeah, we've got a deal, I owe you cargo. And she keeps handing it over to him. So it could be a debt, and he's using his influence to cash in on those debts. So Hondo goes from 6 to 7 influence. And this card gets flipped over. And that concludes his turn. So off to have a look at what is Emphas Nest going to do. Alright, if defeated, recover all damage. No, move towards closest goal. Already there, gain 2000. Alright. She can't deliver cargo, she hasn't got any. And she buy a ship. She's got 15, she's got 18,000, and next ship is 20, so no, she can't. She can discard the top 2 cards, but the next ship she can buy can only be 20, so I wonder would she just buy a ship regardless if it's the same ship as hers. So it's discard, flip, it's 25, discard, flip, it's 25. So yeah, she can't buy any of those. Next, if she's got negative reputation with patrol, she's not at. Can she complete a job? No, her jobs are not here. But she will do the encounter step. So that's the fight. She's going to have combat against me. So she's going to use an encounter step to fight combat against Hondo. So once again, that she's rolling 4. Hondo is rolling 3, but Hondo does have the ion cannon, and he does have Genosa, so that should come in handy. Okay, so that's 1 hit. Okay. So Hondo lands a hit and a crit, so it's 3. So Emphas Nest ship can only take 1 more hit. Emphas Nests try to shoot Hondo with that 1 hit, but once again the ion cannon has disabled her ship, so she's not able to do that. So she keeps on trying to backstab Hondo, I guess, staying at Kessel. She keeps saying she's going to leave, and she tries to take him out, and he shoots her. And then they get back into negotiations, and he takes more of her cargo or gear. Alright, so that concludes her turn. Hondo does get to flip his card. That happens. And I can just see a pattern here. So the AI player is really in a bad spot. We're just sitting here with Hondo and running Emphas Nest into the ground. So we'll discard this card. Alright, so it's Hondo's turn. Hondo will gain 2000. We won't deliver any cargo, we won't do any market actions. I don't want to move any of the patrols closer. And we will resolve an encounter, and that's against Emphas. That's influence. We roll. It's on a hit, crit, or an eye. We get a hit. So we get. Oh, she doesn't have any cargo, so that doesn't work. So we can't actually do that. So what can we do? We've got space for one more crew, so we can probably... Who's underneath us? Bosk. Do we want to try to grab Bosk? We're good. Don't know if we have enough. Got 4,000. Bosk is 26, so we're going to resolve a contact token. He's 26. Let's see. Alright. You find the Trandoshan hanging around outside the cantina. It doesn't seem to be on a job, but it might just be a ruse. If you have 2 or more negative reputations, fight a ground combat against Bosk. We don't, we just got 1, thankfully. I think thankfully. Bosk's got 5 ground combat. If you win, discard Bosk's token. If you have 1 or fewer negative reputations, you may spend 6,000 to gain the crew below and discard Bosk's token. We don't, we only have 4,000. So Bosk goes back and we don't get to do anything. So now we know we need 6,000 to get Bosk. And make sure we don't have any more negative reputation. Okay, over to Emphist. If defeated, recover all damage. Nearly defeated, but not there. Move towards his closest goal. She's already there, so she just gains 2,000. If at cargo destination she doesn't have cargo, she gets to buy. She gets to grab a job. I wish she didn't. I wish she grabbed cargo instead. If she already has a job, I think she discards the job. I'll just double check, but I believe that's the case. She just discards the job if she already has one. Just double check quickly. So it says here they will not buy a card if they do not have an empty slot matching the top card of the deck. Alright, so they don't, she doesn't have a what is that? A job. She doesn't have space for another job, so she won't. Why she got cargo? If negative reputation, so she doesn't. She gets to spend 8,000 to gain 1 fame. She's only got 5, is that right? Yeah, can't do that. Reveal the face down token of the lowest class on the planet and gain the crew on its card for free. So she can't reveal the face down crew because they're all already revealed. So I wonder if she just gets that for free. I wonder if she gets crew for free. Well, let's have a look what they say. Because she's passed on that before. I think we need to go look at pages 18 to 19 quickly. So 18 to 19. So they highlight the word, or they make it bold, face down contact token. However, if there's no face down contact tokens on the planet, the AI player resolves the lowest class face up. So she should have got Bosk last turn. Is that right? Can't remember. I believe she revealed Bosk. I can't remember. Let's just keep going. So, Bosk token will be removed from the game, and she'll gain his card. Just like that. Okay, so she doesn't get any perks. She doesn't get to use those actions. The only action she gets is like +1 attack or +1 defense or +1 move. Alright, so that ends her turn and it'll be over to me. Okay, Hondo is going to stay put, he'll take 2,000. Can't deliver cargo, he won't make an action. Fight a patrol, no, but he won't do the encounter, so he'll do probably do an encounter card. Castle. I could do a ground combat. Could do ground combat. See how we do. Yeah, let's see. Let's try the Dengar thing again. That's 8. Card 8. It's only one of them. Right, so we're going to encounter the contact token Dengar. Dengar has a fearsome reputation and decades of experience. You can only hope that you're not the bounty he's after. If you have at least 1 negative reputation, fight a ground combat against Dengar. He's got 5. If you win, gain 1 fame and discard Dengar. So he's got 5. So we'll be rolling in 3, and we'll add 2 with the bowcaster. And we've got Jim Urso on our side, and we've got the armor vest. So, and he's rolling 5 as well, so it's 5 against 5. We'll have to just roll another one later. Just double check, sorry. I believe it's E. The first game came with 3, 6, yeah. Yeah, and he comes with 9 dice. Would have been great if it came with 10. Alright, so I'll then just roll 4 for Dengar. I'll add 1 to him in a moment. Oh, brutal Dengar. And roll for Hondo. So Hondo gets 2 crits and 3 hits. So it's just 2 crits and 3 hits. Let's roll the other one for Dengar. He's sort of blank, so we'll put it back on here. So Hondo definitely wins this ground combat, which is great. He does take 5 damage. So the first 2 will go onto his armored vest. And then he'll take 3, which is quite a close call, because he can only take 4. So thank goodness for that armored vest. So Hondo seems to be full of tricks, because he's just taken out the one and only Dengar. He gains 1 fame. So Dengar we discard his token. Okay. Get 1 fame. Okay, so we on 8. Hondo is on 8 fame, 2 more to go. Pretty good round actually. I'm happy with that. We've got to put the AI's card hold on. Yeah, they got boss class. I forgot to put the AI's card back at the bottom. So we'll take the top card. Let's see what it says. Do the first that applies. If defeated, nope. Move towards closest goal, already there. Gain 2000. Alright. She doesn't have any cargo. Please buy cargo. Buy. I believe that's the cargo symbol. Please be cargo. Yeah, I believe that's cargo. Yeah. So she gets to buy cargo and place a gold token on card's destination. So we're going to remove Ord Mantell or Cantonika's gold token because she is not going there anymore. But she will be grabbing this cargo. Can she have cargo? She's got space for one cargo. Let's just move these dice out the way. I can't believe Hondo took out Dengar. That's crazy. Hondo is full of tricks. Alright, so she's just grabbed cargo, which is speeder bikes. Destination is Cafrena, which is, let's grab the gold token again and I'll put it over here. She can get 12,000 from that if she completes it. So we'll slip that underneath her ship card. And then we need to flip the top card of this. And that is, we've got these cards upside down. Oh, I keep doing that. Okay, so flip that over. So she gets to flip over one contact token. And they're all already flipped over, so nothing happens from that. Glad no patrols moved. Next step, do the first that applies, so there's no patrols. So this would be an encounter step where she would encounter Hondo. So, because that still remains, even though his card has been flipped. So she's going to fight a space battle, which is 4. And Hondo's got 3. She's going down. Alright. Okay, so she's rolled, oh, that's brutal. 2 crits and a hit. Hondo rolls. Oh, terrible roll. 2 eyes and a blank. So, first things first, the iron cannon can turn, do we have tactics? We do. We can turn one of these crits to a blank. Okay. Then, we can turn one of our eyes to a hit with the Genoso ability. Okay, so we get hit by 3, which thankfully is just below our threshold. So our ship gets hit by 3. Hondo could definitely use a turn for repair. And he drops a hit. He actually a crit. Drops a crit, it doesn't actually matter. But he drops a crit on Empress Nest, and that actually takes her out. So she's defeated. Okay, alright. So that concludes her turn, and she loses 3,000 because of that. And there's the last step on this card, which says discard the top card of the jobs and cargo. No, jobs and bounty and jobs. Market decks, then shuffle this AI card back into the deck. So that goes to the bottom, flip that, and jobs. Discard that, flip that, and then shuffle this card back into her deck. But she has cargo for me to take now, which is great. Sure, I can encounter her even though she's defeated, because that's going to be what I'm going to do. Alright, so I will recover all damage. Alright, I won't be buying cargo, won't be delivering anything, and I won't be fighting patrol, but I will encounter an Infest Nest, and I will be doing my age-old influence when I hit crits and an eye. Let's just move this out the way. Yep, passed, got a hit. So he goes up to 9, almost game over. He gets to take these speeder bikes. You discard blaster parts. Take the speeder bikes. And flip his card. Okay, so this goes to the bottom of that deck. And that resolves Hondo's turn. Over to Infest. If defeated, recover all damage, which is the case. And stand it back up. Just want to see what they say about the rules reference about being defeated. Maybe we couldn't actually perform that. 6. Defeated. The player becomes defeated if their character has an amount of damage equal to its health value of their ship, or their ship has an amount of damage equal to its hull value. When a player becomes defeated, the player loses 3,000 credits, or all their credits if they have fewer than 3,000. The player discards all their secrets. The player places their character standee on its side to indicate that they are defeated. The player finishes resolving their current action or step if not in the action step. And their turn ends. There's planning step. So a player is defeated cannot be attacked. So I didn't attack Empress. I did influence on her, so that's good. All right. So she just recovered all damage. Do all that applies. She gets to buy a ship. If unable, buy gear. Please buy gear. She can buy up to 19,000. So discard that one. Flip. 20,000. Discard. Flip. 15. Man, I'm really ticked. Because that means she's not going to buy that gear. So she's going to buy that. So she's going to let go of the Aztec gunship, the Wookiee gunship. And she'll be grabbing the aggressor. And the stats on the aggressor is actually slightly different. The Wookiee gunship was 646, this is 655. to this card is take it out of the game for now. And the Wookiee gun should be back in, but at the bottom of the deck. And we flip the top card and there's no icons to be resolved. Man, that would have been sweet if you bought gear. That's terrible. So she will go into combat with me because she is pursuing me. That doesn't fall away. So that would be in her counter step. So that would be she's going to roll 3 against my 5. Oh no, wait, ship combat, so it's her 5 against my 3. That's wishful thinking. Alright. Yeah, good roll from her side. Not bad for mine. So Hondo gets a crit and 2 hits. And he gets to turn, the iron cannon gets to cancel one of her crits. Alright. So she does not win that combat, we do. Which means I get to flip this card. That's good. So we take 2 damage to our hull. She takes 4. So that ion cannon with Jyn Erso is quite a brutal combination. It's really worthwhile grabbing gear and mods and crew. Right, so that concludes her encounter step. Special, discard the top card of the bounty and jobs and shuffle this back into the AI deck. We just had this card. Oh, Mandalorian armor. That's cool. There's a bounty on Chewbacca. Alright, we shuffle this back in. Alright, so Hondo, what would we do? We take 2,000? We're going to sit tight. Is there anything else we could do? If we go to Mon Calamari, she's right over there, just to get past that syndicate ship. I think we might try it. Let's try to get past that syndicate ship and just move. So we could try to go around. He's got 6 movements, so it's 1, 2. We would have to stop by the Imperial anyways. So we're going to stop by the syndicate. Can't deliver cargo, we're not going to buy because we're not on a planet. We're going to have to fight a patrol against the syndicate. So the syndicate is fighting 3. And we've got 3. That's the syndicate. Haha. We roll 2 hits and a crit, so we win that. So that knocks the syndicate out. We already got a negative reputation, so it doesn't go any lower. That syndicate is out. We get 5,000 credits, plus 1 because of Hondo's ability. So that's 6,000. And we put the next syndicate onto the board. They now have 5 space combat and they give 1 reputation if they win. And that will conclude Hondo's turn. So it will be Empress Nest's turn. Okay, if defeated, recover all damage. No, move towards the nearest goal. She won't be doing that, so that is just 1 space onto me. Buy a ship if unable to buy gear. So she can't buy a ship. So she will drop that. See that. Special, so she can't use the special, I don't think. Buy any ship sheet from the supply. It costs more than your current ship. So she can't do that. Discard. And 10,000, she wouldn't go buy a ship less than hers. Alright, so she's buying gear. No, buying a mod. There's 2,000 for that mod. Has she got space for a mod? She does. So she's buying a quad laser cannon. Gives her 1 ship attack, strength, an additional, and she will benefit from that. We flip this over, and the Imperials move 4 towards us. 1, 2, 3. Same space as both of us. So she has to fight a patrol. We keep getting the same card. Or it's not the same card. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's the same card. Keeps. How's that possible? Am I not shuffling that correctly? But yeah, she has to fight a combat now. So that is, I believe, 3 against her 5. Yeah. There's her 5. And she gets another attack, but she's got the quad laser cannon. Patrol. Patrol hits for 4. She hits for 4. So because she hit for 4 and he hit for 4, or they, she wins, but she still loses because she's taken too much damage. She's out of action. She does get the 5,000 for defeating the rebels. The token gets removed from the game. She gets her 5,000. She's a very negative reputation for them. Then the end of her so I'm going to put the new rebels out. New rebel is that ship there, the X-Wing. And does 5 space damage, ship damage. It has 1 fame to be gained. So we just got to discard the top card of the bounty and the jobs, and then shuffle this back in. No, which one is it now? Gear. So gear and bounty. Okay, shuffle this back in. Alright, that concludes her turn. Over to Hondo. Hondo's going to move his 6 to get to Mount Calamari. 1, 2, 3. He's at Mount Calamari. Deliver cargo. He does have cargo. No, he's got a job, doesn't he? Yeah. A job. don't know if he's going to pass this job. Who knows? So it's a relic of the past. You have uncovered information about an underwater temple on Mount Calamari. Surely there is something of worth there. I must resolve card 49. Come on. Let's do this. There's 2 49s, looks like it. This one. Get the rest of these back. Alright. Relic of the past. An underwater cave in blocks the only entrance. You'll need to find a way to breach the wall without flooding the entire structure. Test tactics. If you fail, the job fails. Keep the guard. Good thing is I do have tactics. Thankfully for Jen Ursa, she was one of the best, I would say, decisions I made in the game. Along with the ion cannons. So I was roll 2 and I pass on a hit or a crit. Crit, pass. So Hondo manages to breach the wall without flooding the entire structure. The entrance to the main chamber is guarded by a large creature with many tentacles. Fortunately, he appears to be asleep. Test stealth. If you fail, your character suffers 1 damage. Good thing is I believe I do have stealth. Hondo's got stealth. So I pass on a hit and a crit. Yep, got a hit. Pass. On a stone table in front of you lie numerous artifacts. Your research has told you that one of them is real, and touching the others will bring pain. Test knowledge. If you fail, your character suffers 1 damage, and repeat this step. If you pass, complete this job. So I believe he does have knowledge. Yep. I passed on a hit and a crit. Hondo's got knowledge. Come on, Hondo. Yep, passes on a hit. And that is game. Alright, so Hondo completes this job. Card goes back. So he's just completed a relic of the past. Which means he gets 5,001 fame. Remove this card from the game. So that will be removed from the game. Gets 6,000 because of his ability. And 1 fame. Which means puts him on 10. And that's the first game of 10 years. It's the first Star Wars Out of Rhythm game that I've won. I've only played 2 games. The first one I lost. It's the first one I won. So yeah, thanks for joining me. And yeah, if you spot anything that any mistakes I made, please feel free to jump in. I love learning about the game, especially this game. I've made a few posts on Board Game Geek regarding the rules, and I'm constantly checking the rules books, the reference guides. It's just one of those kind of games that now and again you kind of need to. Out of all my games, I actually find this game I have to check the rules quite frequently or jump online. I'm not mad about that, but I'm sure the more I play this, the more familiar I'll get with it. Alright, thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.